Harrison Phillips had a lot of things to say at the Super Bowl. We'll go over it. Plus, the Jets lost a top coaching target for Frank Reich's staff to the gosh darn Giants. We'll talk about that too. Boy Green Daily starts now with a special guest.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Again, there is overflowing amounts of news to get to here on the program, including losing coaching targets and Harrison Phillips going ham at the Super Bowl on a variety of topic matter, which we'll get to here on the show. But first, every Friday, we welcome in my special guest. That is the wonderful, accomplished author over my left shoulder. You see that Beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football forever, and the Super Bowl, as a matter of fact, is in a couple of days. We'll get some of that as well. Let's bring him in. It is the undeniable Bob Lederer. Bob?
What are we undenying?
Well, I think we're going to find that out over the next hour, 2 hours, or however long this program is, Bob. Yeah. So, we'll start off with some, disappointing news for Jet fans, I'm sure, out there in the audience. So Frank Reich gets hired. Okay, he's chosen, but the other two finalists are Greg Roman and Darrell Bevell. And there was talk even during the interview process that maybe some of these guys could combine their powers and all go under the same coaching staff. And Connor Hughes confirmed that last night, that the Jets were in the middle of talks with Greg Roman. But unfortunately, he has chosen a different team that occupies MetLife Stadium. Greg Roman is going to join the New York Giants coaching staff and John Harbaugh as some sort of a run game coordinator of some kind. And apparently that is what the Jets hope to hire him for. And I'm curious your thoughts, Bob, but I'll just tell you this off the top. That doesn't surprise me that Roman chose a Harbaugh. He's been in the league he's been coaching football for 31 years. 28 of his 31 years have been at the NFL level. 14 of those 28 years have been spent with a Harbaugh, whether it's Jim or it's John. So the fact that he's been bouncing between Jim and John his entire career, and then given an opportunity to reunite with one of those Harbaughs and a guy that just got paid $100 million on a 5-year deal, or the Jets, who AG could be fired if things go south, it's hard to blame Greg Roman for that choice.
No, it made sense. And actually, when they were talking to Roman, I was looking at his background, and I saw all those Harbaugh connections. And I figured, well, I didn't even think about him joining the Jets if he wasn't going to get, the OC job. So I'm not really surprised. Actually, I found your discussion yesterday with Nick about the Eagles and, their offensive line coach suddenly being available. And you spent a lot of time talking about, well, the Eagles, since he's still under contract, aren't going to let him go to the Giants. Well, now they don't have to worry about him going to the Giants anyway, because Greg Roman has filled that role, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe there's a chance that the Jets can get him. I thought, I'll tell you the news item that got my attention, at least put a smile on my face, was bringing the D-line coach back, as you made a big deal about it, and I think for good reason.
Yes.
Although you didn't say, and I truly believe this, that there are untapped potential capabilities in a number of the guys that we have on the D-line that he might be able to help us really unleash and bring to bear. Because he's so good at it. Yeah, everybody said, oh, well, look at the names on the Steelers. Look at those guys. But so correctly, you pointed out, well, not everybody comes into the pros and is automatically, all pro and going and leading the league in sacks and all that kind of stuff. This is a complicated situation with teaching individual players, which I discovered in writing my book. Again, I'm not trying to tout the book so much, but it's relevant here because they brought in 3 young guys and put in a veteran between them, and he taught them a lot of the ropes of what they had to do in order to really, be worthwhile. And and there he is, with that really underrated group, of defensive linemen. I would say those guys were about as good, not as the sack exchange, but maybe the second best. And it's too bad that, it didn't last.
Right.
But yeah, he really did a great job in getting those guys who really not too many. I mean, Richardson was a highly touted guy coming out of college. But the other guys were, not all that well known or heralded. So that really was the big plus to me for this week. But getting back to the Jets and the offensive, coaches and such, Reich has now got to figure out who he's going to bring in. And I think the thing you can really be sure of, he ain't going to bring in guys who are inexperienced or learning the ropes on the job, with Reich next year. It's going to be a bunch of veteran guys, and hopefully they will be difference makers.
For sure. And, I'll just go to Carl Dunbar real quick, just to go back here to him. And yes, I think the only other highly touted defensive lineman he had in the room, besides Sheldon, of course, who was a defensive rookie of the year and a top 15 pick, was the guy that's barely on camera here for anyone that's watching the video product. If you're watching the audio only product, we're showing a picture of Carl Dunbar on the screen when he was coaching with the Jets during the Rex Ryan era. On the screen is Leger Duzable, Sheldon Richardson, Damon Snacks Harrison, and Muhammad Wilkerson in the bottom right-hand corner, another former first-round draft choice that was part of that Sons of Anarchy group that they called it. So he was probably the only other one, but like Snacks was undrafted. So, and Leger, had very humble beginnings in the league as well. So he seemed to get the most out of it. And I think, there's been a lot of AG bashing, and we'll use that to launch into the Harrison Phillips comments in just a second, that it says something to me that Carl Dunbar chose the Jets. Sure, he was here before, but Jim Leonard was here before. And that didn't automatically mean he was coming here. So AG deserves some credit for being able to recruit what is widely regarded to be believed one of the better defensive line coaches in football. So big salute to Carl Dunbar, salute to Aaron Glenn for being able to get him here. And hopefully, to your point, you're right, I didn't say that enough yesterday on the show. Jawan Briggs, Harrison Phillips, even again, it's going to depend on the scheme. There's some hints that perhaps we'll go back to a 3-4 scheme that we had with Rex Ryan.
I was watching your show yesterday. Did you get any additional feedback about Jake and Costello's conversation about?
So I tried
about
to
why joining the AG hate club.
I thought it again. I was listening. I was just happy
to quickly repeat for the audience in case they didn't hear it.
Yeah. So for folks that missed it, Jake Asman, of course, is at the Super Bowl. He's doing this sort of media role where he's hosting a show, and then occasionally guests are swinging by and joining him on set. And I was doing my own work here at the office at the computer, and I heard that Jake said, and coming up is Brian Costello. I'm like, all right, let me park my work and just tune into this interview. Maybe Brian's going to have some scoops and things that we could talk about on the show, or I have to cover. So let me watch. And then Jake, at the beginning of this interview, is telling Brian basically how much, and I'm paraphrasing, but how much he hates AG's guts. Boy, this guy clearly should have been one and done. And he's just ripping into him. And he says, and Jake goes, I used to be in Houston, cover it when he was at ESPN Radio, covering David Culley. And I knew that guy stinks. So I've seen it firsthand. And Brian Costello interjects and says, oh, yeah, I've heard that's your take. He was sort of like joking with him because, of course, everyone on the planet has heard his take. He screamed it from every rooftop in the universe. So
you hear it at night when his microphone is off.
100%. He's probably in his bed going, AG. He probably is. But anywho, so Brian says that, and I get a chuckle because, of course, how could you not hear it? It'd be impossible not to hear it if you live in this town. And then he then follows up with, actually, as a matter of fact, I was talking to an NFL coach, and again, pausing the story real quick, Jake has been so loud. ESPN New York, the Jake Asman Show, everywhere in the universe, he screamed that, what does Aaron Glenn do well as a coach? I hate Aaron Glenn. And so Brian says that he was talking to an NFL coach about something else, and that NFL coach brought up when the Jets came up, like, oh my God, what did Aaron Glenn do to piss off Jake Asman? And the fact that Jake Asman is coming up with NFL coaches if they just pay barely attention to the Jets because it's such a strong and violent reaction to social media was hilarious. I couldn't believe that really happened. So
Jake, you got to give Jake may not be doing it for this reason, but he's making himself more than a New York or a regional.
Oh, sure. There's
character.
some national buzz there. There's no question
exactly.
about it.
And that's going to help him career-wise. So what can we do for you?
That's a good point. It's a good question. Do I have to start yelling at somebody? I'm not sure. Maybe I should do more of that. I used to do that when I was younger. I used to be, very yelly here on the show 24/7.
Maybe in the preseason when they win a couple of preseason games.
That's
you can hop on the AG is the greatest coach of all time train and basically just keep it going.
That's a good train. Which, by the way, I shout out to number one Austrian Jet fan. Speaking of jumping on trains, he gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership.
Good noon, Austria. How are you?
By the way, our package that we sent out to Austria just got there. Shout out to Austrian, who just got a glass 12th man-child cup. So salute to Austrian Jet fan for that. Beautiful. That Boy Green Coffee Club membership went to Rick Cucanello. You are now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to our number one Austrian Jet fan, who now has 27 raffle tickets for our contest. So, Austrian, thank you for gifting, and keep those rolling, baby. And as Hop on Pop says, take that like button to Pound Town. That's a free way to contribute here on the program. Now, here's what I want to do. First off, before we get into any of the Harrison Phillips comments that he made a lot of at the Super Bowl, Radio Row, I want to give a round of applause for our Jets content creators in the universe. You just highlighted one of them, Jake Asman and Richie of Roundtable Sports and Jets Media, for getting these interviews. You guys did awesome work. Congratulations. And man, I'm jealous. I'm like, wow, you guys just killed it out there. So I'm very happy to be showing comments from your interviews, and we'll actually play a clip in a second as well. From the Jake Asman show where he interviewed Harrison Phillips, and he told a story I've never heard before, which was very interesting. So we'll get into that, but let's get into the viral comments here. So Richie of Roundtable Sports and Jets Media, you guys all know Richie. He was doing a standing interview with Harrison Phillips, and he basically asks Harrison Phillips, like, why should people believe in AG? Like, well, why should they do it? Well, with everything that's happened, why should they do it? And here we're not going to play the video, but again, you can go find it. It has over 250,000 views, so it's gone viral. Shout out to Richie here. But I'll highlight the comments because I transcribed them in an article. This is what Harrison said. Quote, I think AG inherited a very cancerous, truculent group, whole, top to bottom, and it's not individual people's fault. I was there for one season. It was a very difficult season. I almost wanted to waver on some of my thoughts, my beliefs, and my optimism. So I can't imagine being there for year after year after year and not seeing the results that you wanted. It tainted people, Phillips told Richie of Roundtable Sports. And then here's the rest of the quote. And he explained why he believes it tainted people. Quote, because my coach is going to get fired. My teammates are going to get fired. I'm going to be a free agent. I might get fired. I got to play for me. I got to make sure that my tape is hot, regardless of the scheme and system requirements. Then young players come and say, oh, so that's how you're supposed to do it. And it's a long chain of events, and it can't be fixed like that. I think AG's mindset of any coach I've been around to deal with what he had to deal with this season, to be as consistent as he was through the whole thing, was super cool to see. And he explained that he believes that AG is going to get his own people in here. He's going to be better in year number 2, and he's going to get his thumbprint on the culture as he continues to bring his guys in. And what were your thoughts on those comments? Because when you hear the term cancerous used, I don't want to say so loosely, because like Harrison paused, but you can't see that in the quote, but he paused to think about the word he wanted to use, and then he said cancerous, indicating, the culture that has pre-existed Aaron Glenn before he got here with the Jets.
You can't find a word in most situations, sports or otherwise, that sends a shiver down your spine more than cancerous.
Yeah,
because the inference obviously is you can't fix it. Well, we know in sports that one of the ways you usually have to fix it is by getting rid of guys that will surprise us when they leave or when they're shown the door. because they're just, it's too far gone for them. And in hearing that just now, again, the thought in my mind is, okay, so who's been there for 3 or 4 years that might be forever stuck on that, way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look up and down the roster, and we already got rid of Williams, and he'd made it pretty clear that he'd had enough, that he couldn't change the way his thinking was going. And so, he left, and we obviously got some nice value for him. And I've always felt, and I've said it before when they made the deal with Sauce, that AG saw something in the way Sauce plays on the field and maybe didn't want to alter the way he was playing on the field. That suggested to Aaron Glenn, who knows a thing about playing cornerback, obviously, that didn't sit well with him. So there's another guy. So wouldn't shock me terribly if we have another lead running back next year for much the same reason, especially since, as you pointed out, although it was never confirmed, he was looking through third parties on the trade deadline day to let it be known that I'd like to go. I really want to go. Trade me. You got a couple of hours. Trade me. I want out of here. And instead of offering him I'm not going to offer him probably a $14 million contract, which apparently is the going rate. But I guess at this point I'm resigned to the fact that he's going to go somewhere else. And maybe that's a positive. I don't know. I don't belong to the school that says that running backs are a dime a dozen. I don't buy that at all, because the really good ones are not a dime a dozen. And right now they don't really have anybody, other than their lead, running back, that could really carry the load, very, very far or very long. So they're going to have to find somebody to replace him. And I think at this point I fully expect it. But this whole idea of cancer in the clubhouse, as I said to you before we went on the air, the only way you get rid of it is you win some games.
Of course. That's the antidote. That's the antidote.
But that's going to be a tall order.
Right. It's easier said than done, right? Oh, win. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Let me just go grab some wins from the store. It's easier said than done, of course.
Yeah, it is. But the veteran guys like Phillips and some of the others who've experienced winning, and Phillips certainly did in Buffalo and in Minnesota.
Of course, yes.
Can kind of be the centerpiece, the nucleus of the new attitude that needs to sweep through the clubhouse. So we'll see. What's his name? They're Simpson, their offensive lineman.
Sure,
also,
John.
He's used to winning. He's not used to
in Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not used to being on a losing team. So, those are really probably the two primary guys with lengthy experience, in the NFL that are going to have to be the guys that carry the load and really spread the positive attitudes through the clubhouse. But that's not going to start until they start winning, and it's got to be more than one game. They're going to have to.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Again, a name that a lot of people expect to join the Jets this offseason very quickly in free agency is Alex Anzalone, the linebacker. We did a show on him earlier this week, and that makes a lot of sense. He's been in the NFL for 9 years. 8 of his 9 years have been with AG. If there is not a more clear AG guy that's been around him for winning, then that's the kind of guy you want in there to hopefully sell that message and break this chain that Harrison Phillips.
Also, as you pointed out, he knows the kind of defense that AG
of course
run, and he can be a plug-in player who can help them, do the things. Because you're right, their linebacking core. Even if Williams was playing well and he wasn't, and he's a goner.
Yeah.
Their other. A linebacker who they gave all the money to, they're going to have to make him fit into the system and hope it's going to work. It clearly didn't work last year with what AG was doing. But going back to the cancerous thing,
sure, yeah,
what Phillips said,
yeah,
Phillips could have been completely rah-rah, Or he could have said to Richie, I really don't want to talk about it. Or he could have said, and this he would never do, I'm pretty sure, as a veteran, is I got to get out of here. Like I know a lot of my teammates have said, but he decided to make a mostly positive spin on commenting about playing for AG, because it's not a roaring chorus of hallelujah.
Not from the audience. It's not recently, for obvious reasons. Again, they were 3-14.
Right.
So
but I just mean talking about playing for AG in general, which he only did for 1 year.
Right.
So it's he was careful in what he said in its own way, and yet it's very damning. Not so much about AG, but about the whole organization, because it's something that permeates not just the players, but probably the whole building. And go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing I want to get. So Harrison makes these comments. Again, shout out to Richie for getting the interview. It is going viral. It has nearly 500,000 hits right now on social media. And so Harrison, for those who don't sort of know how it works, so at Radio Row at the Super Bowl, there's all these people lined up. Jake Asman's, Richie's, and ESPN, NFL Network, and all these different things. And there are players that are going basically desk to desk because they're promoting something. Harrison Phillips is representing, his charity, which is involved with the Special Olympics, which is close to me. My brother has special needs, and he has been involved in that before. So I love that from Harrison Phillips. So long story short, Harrison Phillips knows what he's going to get into. He's going to talk about his charity, which is great, but sort of the unwritten contract between Harrison Phillips and any media person is, all right, we're going to talk about the Jets, AG, and all that, and then we're also going to give you an opportunity to plug your charity. So anywho, he made these comments. They go viral. Brian Costello of the New York Post chases down Harrison Phillips because he's like, hey, man, I just want to clarify what you said. And he caught up with Harrison in response to Richie's video, and he asked Harrison Phillips in San Francisco for the Super Bowl. He wanted to make clear what he was saying. And he said the mindset of same old Jets, quote unquote, is the cancerous thing. He wasn't attempting to criticize individuals. He felt when the Jets started to lose, they'd slip into same old Jets. And he says that's a cancerous thought to have.
But that shows you that it's an attitude, a feeling that permeates the whole organization, because you had a whole new coaching staff. So why would that immediately lead you to that kind of a thought process if it wasn't part of the aura of the environment in and around the Jets? And so if it's not the players, okay.
Right.
And you have a brand new coaching staff, well, what is it?
Well, I think Harrison doesn't want to say the quiet part out loud, which, of AG's team, and let's call it 53 players. I know there's a practice squad and everything else. 53 players weren't new to the Jets. There's plenty of people that have been here around for the losing. I think, and Harrison, I think, is being respectful as a veteran. I think there were clearly players on this team that permeate. It's not just, it's these green uniforms. They have some magic powers that make us stink forever. Like, players that had that.
Which tells me that we needed to distribute about 53 copies of Beyond Broadway Joe to the players last year to show them, hey, it doesn't have to be the way you keep reading in the New York Post. Things are around the Jets.
By the way, speaking of your book, real quick, Bob, it's only slightly
tongue in cheek. You have to really get people, to do that.
Hey, shout out to Mad Mertz, a member of the Boy Greatest Special Club, says, "Hey Bob, I bought your book in audio form. Looking forward to the trip down memory lane."
Great, and I hope you don't mind the 2 or 3 names that he mispronounced in the audio book. They wouldn't let me do the audio book, and they hired a professional, and we spent 2 or 3 hours going through every single name so that he would get it right. And then I started listening to the audiobook, and I started hearing some names being mispronounced, and I went, oh. But
do you use the term professional loosely there, or
they do hire professional audio voices who are deep, for men, deep, thoughtful, it's like listening to the voice of God, like, what's his name, for so many years in the NFL. And he was a very nice guy, and he had a very good voice. And back then, this is this is 5-6 years ago now. I had a much better voice than I have now. And they told me it'll take you too long because every time you make a mistake, they got to stop and redo it. Well, he made four or five mistakes in the first 5 minutes that nobody caught and nobody cared about. So I'm still proud of the product, but I wish it would have been perfecto.
Yeah, right. Of course, an attention to detail and seeking a perfection.
Enjoy the book and let me know. Let me know what you think after you've gone down memory lane, and it'll be a happy memory lane. I'll guarantee that.
Oh, I can't wait for that. All right, Bob, real quick, because we're on this Phillips thing, let's do story time real quick, then we'll get to others. Have you ever heard the story, Bob, of the twin sons of an alcoholic father? Have you ever heard that story?
No, but I think
all right. Well, you are. This was the final question asked by Jake Asman to Harrison Phillips, Radio Row at the Super Bowl, and explaining the message to Jet fans. And again, twin sons of an alcoholic father. Here we go.
Final question. What's your message to this Jet fan base? We are starving for a winning team. The Jet fan base at its best, I think, is as passionate as any fan base in all of sports. You're one of the more beloved players on the team already. You've only been on the team for barely a full season. What's your message to the diehard Jet fans out there?
So I'll a quick story then. The twin sons of an alcoholic father. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Twin sons are born in a household with an alcoholic father. Beats them, violence, heavy alcohol abuse. And then they go and they leave. 30 years later, we go and interview these twin sons. They go to the first one, and as someone might expect, he's homeless, on the street, addicted to drugs, and an alcoholic. And they said, "Why are you like this?" And he said, "My father was alcoholic." They go interview the twin. He's married, active in his church, business owner, kicking ass in life. And they ask him, "Why are you like this?" "Well, my father was an alcoholic." And so oftentimes heroes and villains have the same origin story. And someone might say, like, "I've been hurt so much, I'm going to go cause hurt." And someone else might frame it as, "I've been hurt so much, I'm going to make sure no one else hurts again." And I think that could just establish a mindset that maybe was with the organization prior to a new mindset of what we're trying to build. And so we've been through some shit, and sometimes then that just creates more shit. We're going to use what we went through as the origin story for the positive.
And again, guys, you can find the full Harrison Phillips interview with Jake Asman on the Jake Asman Show on his YouTube channel. And I'd never heard that story before. And I just heard it. I'm like, wow, what a fascinating way to look at it. That, again, basically, it's sort of the quote I live my life by, that, again, you don't control the cards you're dealt in life, but you can control how you respond to them. And don't allow yourself to be the product of the environment in the bad way, that you can control it for the good way on mentality. So,
yeah, I mean, I grew up with 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Mm-hmm. And my wife will say to me now and then, "That reminds me of your father, what you just said, or what you just did, or the way you walked, or the way you yelled, or something like that." But in the end, you're responsible, and you make the decisions yourself as to how you want to be as a person, how you want to interact with people, what your mindset is as far as, being a winner, or just kind of leaving everything to chance and not taking any responsibility for yourself. So I can relate. I mean, I'm as different from my twin brother as 2 twins can possibly be. And we came from the same father, obviously, or maybe it wasn't, but it is true. We came from the same father and the same mother. And so, it is a great point, and everybody can be as good and as helpful and as virtuous and as positive as they can possibly be. And you have to overcome the obstacles in life, that are set in front of you, rather than just accepting it and saying, "Well, nothing I can do. I got to go barreling into that garbage can. And if I get hurt, I get hurt." No, you don't have to do that.
Right.
But yeah, look, they're gonna have to find a way to win. They just have to find a way to win. The new coaching staff may help because, again, their experience in being with winning organizations or just other organizations that are not, drowning in all the losses that they've had to go through over the years, should be helpful. That even goes to, selecting the guys in the draft.
Sure.
You got to draft guys not only with positive attitudes, and that's a big deal. It's a really big deal psychologically when you interview these guys.
Yeah.
But from organizations that are accustomed to winning. And the Jets have to do everything they can to not create a situation where, let's say, they draft a quarterback and they put him in and he starts to take his lumps and such, and that he doesn't get caught up, in the same old Jets type of situation. There have to be positive influences, very positive influences, who say, hey, we made a couple of mistakes. Those can be fixed. This is not going to continue. And trust me, I've been through enough situations here in the NFL that we know how to work our way around these kind of things.
For sure. So real quick, I'll get to a super chat. We have phone calls. We have all kinds of things to get to. But before we get to that, I just want to go back to the Greg Roman thing, because I saw that Old Yank says, I didn't think that Roman would come here after being looked at for OC. I agree with that. That's a point we haven't brought up yet, but I wrote it in my piece last night that, Greg Roman, you're a finalist for the Jets OC job. Sorry, buddy, you didn't get it. But hey, do you want to work under the guy you lost out to? Like, that's a difficult thing. These are human beings. These aren't robots. So I imagine that was very difficult. Like, Greg Roman didn't fight for the OC job with the Giants, but then he was offered a position under. So I think that's a mental thing too, that part of it doesn't surprise me that he wouldn't want to work for the organization. He attempted to be this, and he could come in at this position. Not everyone is going to be okay with that.
There's absolutely no argument about what you just said. Plus, he's been around long enough. He knows Frank Reich. He knows what Frank Reich is like as a person. And maybe he wouldn't be comfortable working for him, especially if he knows he's got John Harbaugh 20 miles away, in his back pocket, and he can go there. So if he'd gotten the OC job, it'd be one thing, but why work for somebody that he doesn't know as well as he knows his option, which is within hailing distance of where he was interviewing in Floral Park.
And this is people I see oftentimes say, boy, Green, we want to see you more angry on the show. You need some more anger. And I see we have Luby Super Jets fan, and I'll get to your super chat in a second, Luby. But he says, John's getting Roman. Man, that makes me so pissed, says Luby. Luby, I can't get there because of everything we've said throughout this entire show. Greg Roman has been attached at the hip to one of the Harbaughs basically his entire career. It's really 50% of his career.
And you said something yesterday. You said something yesterday that isn't necessarily true. And that is there is no salary cap on assistant coaches. Well,
that is correct.
There is an understood one that you're not going to get more than X. So if you're going to get X from the Jets or X from the Giants, and the guy, and you're so comfortable with the guy at the Giants who's going to pay you the same amount of money and maybe even sweetened it a little bit, why would you go to the Jets? I can't be angry. I can't be angry at Greg Roman for that situation.
No.
But Aaron Glenn, show me. I'm not from Missouri, but show me that that you and Frank have somebody else in mind,
right?
Who's going to step in and be. I mean, they already have a very good offensive line coach as it is.
Yes, I like Steve Hayden a lot. Yeah.
But so who's going to be the running backs coach? Well, I'm sure there's somebody out there and somebody good that Frank Reich is used to. Actually, I'm looking forward to. The rumor mill is that Bobby Jr. is going to show up today, and he wants to talk about Frank Reich and the Indianapolis Colts years of yore.
Good times. So, I can't wait for that.
Times. So I can't. Lou, I can't be mad about that. I mean, these are people in their lives are up to them, and it's their decisions. And hey, if you had a chance to work for someone you really enjoyed working for, I got a feeling that all things being equal, you would go take the job with him than with somebody that you're not really sure about.
Now, don't get me wrong. It would have been wonderful because, in theory, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Frank Reich was a quarterback in the NFL for 14 years, mostly as a backup. He went into coaching. He's been coaching football for 20 years. Most of that either working with quarterbacks as an offensive coordinator or as a head coach. So he has tons of experience, and he's a quarterback guy. Love that vision. Great
And when he was with
offense.
the Eagles, I think he was
Yeah.
the passing, coordinator or something.
Yeah,
And
he was
Greg-
the
and
OC
Greg
with the
Ro-
Eagles
Greg
when they
Roman's-
won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
And Greg Roman's resume is strengthened more than anything else by his reputation as a running backs coach.
Exactly. So a little bit of yin yang would have been great. Mac to cheese, black and white, this or that. Like, it would have made sense in theory. So yes, if the Jets would have hired him, I would have been, yes, great news for the Jets. But the fact that he didn't come based on his other choices, again, I just can't lose my marbles over, at least in this respect.
Save him,
All right.
save him for the next problem.
Yeah, there you go, which I have no problem doing. Your buddy, DNY for Life, gifting 5 Boy Green Coffee Club memberships.
Hey, DNY, I got what in the mail yesterday. J-E-T-S, Jets.
Yes.
Okay,
I
nice.
still don't know how we got Marv Albert onto that tape, but it's wonderful.
That is true. There's no doubt about it. Hey, thanks for the 5 memberships, Devin.
Kevin James. I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Thank you, DNY for Life. By the way, you are now in 4th place in our contest for this month with 6 raffle tickets. So really appreciate your contributions to the show. Here are the 5 new members to Boy Green Coffee Club. Then we'll get to Lou B Super Chat, and then we'll get to the phone lines here on the program. Thank you guys for all the support here on the channel. It means a lot. Appreciate it. Those 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club are as follows from our guy here, DNY for Life. God, it gets me so emotional every time you guys are so willing to share with memberships and super chats here on the program. So thank you very much here on the program. Okay, these 5 new members, again, sorry about that, DNY for Life, are Bucky Ross, Mark Calbert, we got DKL, the big fella's back, Ronald Perry. You guys are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, so thank you kindly. Let's go to a super chat here from something Lou B is hearing. All right, every time I get a super chat here from my daughter, Raya Luna. Wow. I know from people who are friends with Breece Hall, he hates this team. Fact. Great player, but he's been ripping this team apart. Even Bob sees it. I will say this. Breece has certainly let it be known on social media when he's frustrated. He lets it fly when he's been frustrated. And there have been some signs that he has had an uneven relationship with the New York Jets during his 4 years. But we don't have a sense yet. I haven't heard from any of the beat reporters in recent times what the Jets plan on doing, whether franchise tag, transition tag, let him hit the open market. Do you have a preference on what you want, Bob? And do you see it? He says even Bob sees it with your glasses on that you can see that Breece Hall hates his team, apparently.
I want the highest return I can for him because I don't think he's going to be on the Jets this year.
So a tag and trade then you're open to?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, they're going to have to get a running back in the draft or sign
to replace,
somebody.
right? Mm-hmm.
The good thing is I think their offensive line, which will probably even be better next year if they all stay healthy between the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if they sign another lineman in free agency. That if you can get a good back, that you can find somebody who can basically carry the rock for you most of the time. Plus, they're getting injured players back. And I still have a great deal of faith in the idea of, a scat back and a big, guy who can just plow up the middle and carry guys on his back. I've seen it happen in the pros years ago, and I still think it can be the case. And they got a good enough line to open holes. So it's just a matter of, again, it's part of the synchronicity that needs to happen to get everything working together.
The thing I would do here with this situation is, again, personally. So here's the choices for the Jets. For those who don't know, Breece Hall's rookie contract is set to expire in a month. He is set to be an unrestricted free agent. The Jets can let him hit free agency, and if they do, there's a chance they could get a comp pick back, not this season, next season, but that's only if the Jets basically don't spend a lot of money in free agency. They're going to spend a lot of money in free agency, so if they let him go, they're going to lose him for nothing. They could tag him and keep him for the year at a very high rate, but they could keep him for 2026. They could tag and trade him. There's a couple of options to do. If I was running the ship for the Jets, and subject to change, but I'm pretty sure my opinion's pretty strong on this, I would tag Breece Hall and I would attempt to trade him.
Yeah.
And get some sort of an asset back, and then you replace whatever Frank Reich and Aaron Glenn's preferences. There's plenty of really talented running backs.
Maybe they could trade Breece Hall and one of the extra fifths or two of the extra fifths that they get and get a third.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I wouldn't give up 2 5s and Breece for a 3, but I don't like that value. But I would just try to get Breece Hall. You could have had a 4-4 at the deadline. Is anyone still in the 4 ballpark? If so, phenomenal. Get your 4 and cash out. If there's some mini bidding war because he's 24 and ESPN has him ranked as the 7th best player that is supposed to hit free agency and the best running back. Would a couple of contenders say, you know what, we think Breece could get us over the top? We're willing to throw a 3rd for Breece, and then you get your asset that way. Because, I think you should try to get something. To just lose him for nothing, I know it's something cost fallacy. That'd be disappointing. So whether he hates the team or not, here's the fact. Whether Breece Hall hates this team or not is not going to change my opinion on whether we should tag him or not. Because I am tagging him to trade him then. I'm not just going to, he hates the team and he's flipping the bird on the way out and I lose him for nothing. No, sir. That is an asset.
The rumor mill is still very ripe that Kansas City is interested in him.
Right, correct.
I think Kansas City might very well be interested in him even more now than they were at the trade deadline because of the way their season ended.
For sure.
In a total dump. I don't mean that by their choice, but injuries and losing your quarterback. And I mean, having to play guys who would have trouble even making the Jets quarterback roster, for next season, not for this past season.
No, right. I get
all those guys could have played for us last season.
They definitely could have. We had an opening. Yes.
Yeah. So, whether there's anybody else that's interested in him doesn't matter to me. I think Kansas City does. And so I would expect the Kansas City, not of Missouri, but Kansas City of Kansas Chiefs to basically be very interested and open to making a deal of some sort. And hopefully we can get more than a 4th because we knew we could have gotten that before.
Exactly. Right. So, yeah, we'll see. That will be interesting because then it's Darren bending the knee saying, I made a mistake and I should have traded him for a 4th at the deadline if he gets a 4 this time. So we'll see. Maybe they could get creative and to your point, Bob, they could combine that and a 4. Maybe they get a 2 or something higher.
Maybe they get a 4 and they get a quality player, from Kansas City in the deal with it.
Oh, maybe.
Which Muji has shown he likes to do.
That's for sure. So, Luby, thank you so much for the super chat. So, yes, I would try to get an asset for Breece. I wouldn't just let him go to the streets. Let's get one more positive thought here and put some positive vibes into the entry. We're just talking about that with the Jets, right? There's so much negativity and pessimism around the Jets. Let's put some positive juju into the universe before we go to the phone lines. Indy Jets is getting his scan results today, and he's hoping we get something positive on this Friday. So, Indy, I know you appreciated the Carl call yesterday, called into the show, and you loved his call. Thank you. And, Indy, we're all thinking about you, buddy. So we're hoping for a huge, massive scan results today for you in a good way and some positive energy out to the universe. I believe what you put out into the universe comes to you tenfold. So positive energy.
Hoping the best for you, Andy.
100%, brother. So we are all with you and will continue to be with you, my brother in arms. All right. Well, let's do this, Bob. If you're ready for it, we'll hit the phone lines. And I hear there may be a Bobby Jr. addition to the program at some point here.
Okay. Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Talking Jets football, man. Fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. The New York Jets Football Club. defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets. Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. We're talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, fucking daily, fucking daily, fucking daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go!
As Lou B says here, I filmed that video. Yes, you did, Lou B, and you deserve all the props in the world for filming that video, my friend. And hopefully you film many more videos. We're gonna.
I hear he is up
partner
for an
and
Academy
film it.
Award nomination.
He should. That's a hell of a video piece.
Yeah.
So, I think that award show is coming up. So, Luby, I will definitely submit one in for you, my friend. There's no question about it. Before we go to the phone lines, Bob, a very beautiful message here. We have a super chat coming in from Chef Kevin Gilbert.
Wow.
Beautiful. Let's rally. Send my tickets to Indy Jets. We are with you, bro. 3 raffle tickets to Indy. Thank you to Chef Kevin Gilbert for doing that. That is very sweet. And yes, let's rally around Indy Jets and let's see if we can get some raffle tickets his way. I'd love nothing more than to give him our raffle prize for this.
Yeah, we got Johnny Boy through. We got Johnny Boy through the bad times. Let's see if we can do it for Indy too.
100%. We got a good streak going on right now of like getting people healed up and getting positive juju out into the universe. So I would love nothing more than that. That would be terrific if we can find a way to make that happen. So yes, folks, again, I do believe that. I've said this before, but again, whatever you put out into the universe, you get back tenfold. So if we continue to have our positive prayers and thoughts, that's only going to help our buddy Indy. So please, if you guys can, whether it's financially with raffle tickets, that's a cool thing for him. But no, more importantly, just in spirit, in thought, in love. That we can give. And this is a Jets community and a Jets family. And whether we're yelling about the Jets or Bobby Jr. eventually calling in here telling us probably all kinds of positive things about Frank Reich, no matter what it is, we're here for each other. And that is the thing that is most important in my eyes. By the way, real quick, just because we're bringing up the raffle prizes that are coming up here on the show, here's the raffle prizes for this month. Darrell Revis, a pair of new Jet shorts, Woody t-shirt, and a hat from my personal Jets collection off the wall into the raffle prize. So that'll be going out there to the universe. So hopefully you guys dig in on the prizes. We'll be giving all this away on March 1st. So beautiful. Thank you again at Chef Kevin Gilbert for the beautiful sentiment with the super chats coming in. Appreciate it. All right, let's do this, Bob. Let's go to the phone lines here. You want to kick it off for us, Bob?
Here's Hep.
Wait, what did you just say?
Hey, fellas. Confucius say, he who passes gas in church sits in his own pew.
That's good. That's a good one. I like that, Hep.
So I was watching Jake the other day, and you realize he pays $1,100 to sit there?
What?
He what?
Yeah, to set up the chair over there.
Oh, yeah, he had to pay $1,100 to be there.
Yeah,
not surprising.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been to conferences my whole life, and exhibit booths cost.
Yeah.
To be there,
$1,100. I'm going to be honest. Maybe I'm an idiot. I never realized that cost money. So,
well, it used to be free. They were talking to someone. I think it was one of the Greenberg or one of those guys.
Okay.
He was doing an interview, and he was saying, "Oh, I remember years ago, guys that have been here doing it since when they used to do it in the hotel lobby of some hotel lobby or something." It was he goes, I had Matt in here for a half hour to sit there and talk with him. It was different in those days. Now it's so.
Well, he's taking up valuable space. He's taking up valuable space in an area that is used to, to getting paid for use of the arena.
Yeah, just real quick, those greedy bastards. So think about that. I'm sure Jake's not the only one that's paying. So think about that media conference room. There's like 150 media members. Oh my God. If you're charging $1,100 a piece, and then
It
they just
is,
pocket.
wow,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
that's if it used to be free, somebody there finally put their noggin together and said, "Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know how we can make an extra $100,000?"
Easily 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hep, did he talk about it on the show, or how did that come up?
As I was saying, one of the Greenbergs, the guy, he's skinny guy, and he has a little gruff. He talks more like
Mike
this.
Greenberg.
Mike Greenberg, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was talking to him about it, and he was saying, he goes, "Oh yeah," and it just came up, and he goes, "Yeah, it costs $1,100 to set up here."
Well,
And
you know,
that's not
the NFL could foot the bill for everything in there, since this is for promoting the NFL and its Super Bowl
Right.
game. But they obviously are, and maybe the money's going to the NFL for all we know.
Oh, wait. Let me just, there's some clarity in the chat. I didn't see this. So they said it's to use the Wi-Fi. It's for the internet. So the 1,100 is not for the booth to sit there. Apparently that might be free. They're saying that it's to use the direct line, so they have the internet for the show is the Wi-Fi charge.
Jake complained last week. Yeah. Jake complained last week in Mobile that they wanted him to pay $350 a day for a good internet line.
Oh, what? Oh, I missed that too. Oh my God.
Can you set up a hotspot,
but he
though?
didn't. He refused to pay it. And so he had a line that was good for audio, but as far as video goes, you know, if you don't mind distortion, it was good for your eyes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was my internet connection. I watched a few of these Jake shows. It was a little blurry. I'm like,
yeah.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. $350 in Mobile, Alabama. Like,
to get an internet line. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So apparently, that's what people are saying in the comment section. That was a Wi-Fi thing for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our running backs room is kind of going to be light. Breece, I don't see Breece hanging around here or wanting to play. And all we have is Allen coming off an injury, and we have the Rabbit, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Wait, say that one more time, Hep.
All we have is Allen and the Rabbit now, because I don't see Breece hanging around. So who do we have?
Right, that's it. We have Jack Rabbit, we have Braylon, and that's about it in the backfield. Yeah. And obviously, Braylon's coming off a very serious injury. And then, even if you didn't consider that, he's a 4th-round pick, and Isaiah Davis was a day 3 pick too. So, like the Jets. So, if you're the Jets, you can tag Breece Hall and either keep him or attempt to extend him. A lot of people before that for a 2 or 3 year deal, or tag and trade him. But if you move on from Breece in any form or fashion, you're going to have to replace him. There's no way you could run in with RB1 and 2 being Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. So I'd be curious. Yeah. There's a lot of names. I mean, there's like Travis Etienne, there's Kenneth Walker's. Like, there is a lot of big names that are going to be available. Now, I don't think big names like Saquon Barkley getting his crazy money he's getting, but just big names like, I would imagine that would tickle some Jet fans out there in the audience.
All right, guys. Thanks for everything. I'll see you in
the weekend. Who do you like? Who do you like?
Oh yeah, Super Bowl pick.
Oh, I got a root for Seattle.
You do. Hopefully that's consistent.
Anybody but New England.
There you go. Amen. There you go. There he is. Hef joining us here on the program. Craig Mechanics is again. They're saying it was 1,100 for the week. Apparently to be at the Super Bowl this week.
He's there. What? He's there for? Is he there still today?
That I don't know. But what's today?
Well, Friday? He did at least
probably.
So he did 4. Even if it was 4 days or 5 days, that's a couple of $100 a day.
But hopefully, if you're Jake, now we're really breaking the fourth wall here on YouTube content creator land. If you're Jake, what you're betting on is that you're making enough money from all the people watching your interviews and super chats and memberships to pay for the Wi-Fi and hopefully and some to make it worth your time. Because Jake, shout out to him. I'm saying he's interviewed like Brian Billick, who, again, I got his book behind me, The Q Factor. He's interviewing coaches. He's interviewing Jets players. And hopefully those moments, everyone's saying today is his last day, which makes sense.
He's not only rubbing shoulders and getting the right kind of people to talk to, but he is amassing a tremendous amount of backup information.
Sure.
That he's going to store in there. He's going to be, and believe me, off camera, if he isn't already doing it on camera, he's asking each of these guys, so what do you think of AG? How bad do you think AG is?
Sure
seriously, it's an obsession. And so he's getting more and more ammunition. Maybe some of the stuff will help him soften him a little bit, but who knows?
Yeah, and people again who saying in the audience like, "Oh, I'm going to go watch Jake and support him." Please do. I don't like this world where we say, I'm only going to watch Boy Green or this guy." Please, if you have time, watch as many Jets content creators as you want. So I'm hoping one of these days I'll be able to go to some of these live events. But now hearing that I'm going to have $1,100 ready for the Wi-Fi, okay, I better start saving my.
You can always use the little tin can you used as a kid, right?
That's true. I think people would really enjoy that. I'll have to film.
I can get you the string.
Please do. Please do. I'd appreciate that. Let's go to the phone lines. Back. It's Badshaw here on the show. Badshaw, welcome back, my friend.
What's going on? Bob, I always hear you say the show me state. It always cracks me up. Like, I'm just like, I was born in Missouri. Thankfully, they took me straight to Arkansas after I was born. But
that's a plus.
But I've got a lot of family.
You moved to Arkansas, and that was a plus.
Well, I mean, basically, I was literally born in the hospital in Missouri, and then we live right on the border of Arkansas and Missouri. So, like, they got me the hell out of there. But anyway, I was actually, I think where I was born, I think Paul's wife has family there, if I'm correct. She was saying something about it on Facebook one day. So
that's true. Yes, her biological father and thus her brothers and sisters and everything else of that side are in Arkansas. So that might set up for an Arkansas trip. I might be raiding the Badshaw residence, baby.
Yep, you're always welcome.
As soon as the Super Bowl is played in Arkansas, that'll be a place to go.
Is that on the calendar? I can't wait. I'll try to hit up both spots. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Jerry Jones, he's from Arkansas. I heard he was wanting to buy the Jets, but relocate them to Arkansas. So we'll see.
Oh, wow. That'd be great. The Arkansas Jets. Wow, it's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I think we'd have to go with like the Hogs or something. But anyway.
So who do you like Sunday? Badger, who do you like on Sunday?
Super Bowl pick.
Bob, if anybody calls in today and tells you they're rooting for the Patriots this weekend, they're not a freaking Jets fan. I'll just tell you that right
now. Hey, let me tell you this, because I don't really this person, maybe some of the audience are going to be big fans of this person. I don't know. I never listen to his content. It's no offense. I just, I have no connection to this individual whatsoever. But his name's Frankie V or something from U Stadium, I believe. And Jake told on one of his shows, I just happened to catch it, that it's from Brian Costello, because they all do the Gangs All Here podcast together, that apparently Frankie V is a supposed Jets fan. He's rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl because he says if Sam Darnold wins, that just makes the Jets look like idiots. And I'm like, and you'd rather your division rival Patriots win the Super Bowl? You're a freaking nutcase, dude. So whoever the hell you are, Frankie V, you're freaking nuts. That's stupid. We're all
fans. And you want to root for an organization where the head coach, when they played the Jets in New Jersey next to the last game of the season, and they were kicking the Jets all over the field, and he was cursing up a storm about, let's kick their asses and whatever.
Which, by the way, Mike Vrabel Coach of the Year. Yippee! Josh McDaniels Assistant Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Woo! But at least Drake May didn't win MVP last night. So thank you for the random guy that voted for Justin Herbert, which allowed Matthew Stafford to win the MVP.
Exactly.
Hey, if you're gonna coach with class.
Yeah, he doesn't. Go ahead, Badshaw.
I'm pumped about Stafford coming back another year. But I was going to say, if anybody could root for the Patriots, it would probably be Paul, because his mom is a big Patriots fan.
Screw that. I don't. I don't know if I've ever made this clear on Boy Green Dale. I know I've said it on other shows. So, of course, I'm a Jets fan. I want the Jets to win the Super Bowl every year. But when the Jets are inevitably over the last 50 years, the 32, almost 33 years of my life, and the negative 20 years before that, where they also weren't in the Super Bowl, every time that my mother's Patriots made the Super Bowl, I don't have Giant jerseys in the house for obvious reasons. So I'd get a white T-shirt, I grab a permanent marker, and I create a Giants shirt jersey to wear so I could actively root against my mother's Patriots. And so Eli Manning brought me great joy in those 2 Super Bowls against the Patriots to prevent Tom Brady from having 9 Super Bowl rings. So thank you, Eli Manning.
I was about to ask you, Paul, if the Giants played the Patriots, who would you root for?
Giants, G-men, all day. Not
See, I
thinking
did
twice.
when I moved to Chicago, and the Giants got in the Super Bowl a couple of times. And I mean, I hated the Giants growing up because I was a diehard Jets fan.
All right.
But people said, "Why are you rooting for the Giants?" I said, well, "Why do I want San Diego to win? Why do I want Cincinnati to win? I was born and raised in New York. I'd rather New York win, even though I don't really care for the Giants very much." So.
Yeah, I just want everyone in our division, let me say this as bluntly as possible, to burn in hell. Screw the Miami Dolphins, screw the New England Patriots, screw the Buffalo Bills. I want them all to burn in hell and be inconvenienced for the rest of their life. Again, I mentioned it on the other show. I want, if a Bills fan is at his house right now looking for his remote controller, I hope it gets lost in the couch. If he goes to get a cold beer out of the fridge, I hope it's not there. I hope he is inconvenienced for the rest of his life, and that goes for Bills, Dolphins, and Patriot fans.
And now we know you're an expert at Taekwondo, and you can actually do something about it too.
Yeah, that's right. I can go kick some ass. That's it. Yeah.
Well, so my whole deal with picking like who I want to win the Super Bowl usually, because obviously the Jets are never in. Obviously, I'm going to root for the Jets if they're in.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
So my mom's a Titans fan. And then I also kind of have some ties to the Rams back when they were in St. Louis. And so I will usually just root for them if they're in, like the Rams were in a Super Bowl a few years ago. But now I'm not like got all my Rams gear on or nothing like that. I'm just like, okay, let's go for the Rams. Then when it comes past that, it's if Dallas, which I've been alive for a couple Dallas Super Bowls. I was like 2, so it doesn't really count. I'm going to root against Dallas. I'm always going to root against New England. And then, as long as it's not the Bills, I will root for whatever team hasn't won a Super Bowl. That's usually my logistics of how, even though we really don't need that, because the more teams that haven't won a Super Bowl that win a Super Bowl are tying with the Jets. So it's kind of like it's kind of getting me at the same time. But anyway, so the reason I called in today.
Well, real quick, I want to answer your thing, Betcha. I just want to say we view it the same way. I love new. I love when new teams are in the mix and they haven't been there. Like, if the Lions ever make the Super Bowl, or even some of these expansion teams like the Texans or the Jaguars or something. I'm like, man, this is cool, man. They've never been there. Like, man, how great for their fans. But at the same time, you're right. Like, oh, whoa. We want those teams to continue to suck because we suck, but they suck more. So we need them to suck more. That is a good point.
Paul, if Justin Fields takes the Lions to the Super Bowl, you're going to root for the Lions?
Justin Fields.
I'll root for the Lions, but I'm not rooting. And it's like Seattle. I'm not rooting for Sam Darnold. Like, I mean, I don't wish anything bad for him. Like, I don't.
Right.
I'm just kind of like, once you go to another team, unless your name's Jericho Cotchery, I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't want you to die or nothing, but I'm like, or tear your ACL, but I'm like, you just kind of fall off my radar when you leave the Jets, in my opinion. So that's just how I look at it. But there's been a lot of people that are like, oh, you're rooting for Seattle because of Sam Darnold. I'm like, I'm rooting for Seattle because they're playing, if they were playing the Texans or like you said, the Jaguars, I'd be all for, the Texans winning or whoever's new, But yeah, so the reason I called in was I like watching NFL Throwback on YouTube. They've got their own channel, and so they broke down every team, and the category, trying to figure out the best way to explain it was like the best team, like each team's best team that didn't win a Super Bowl, and so for example, the Jets was the '98 season that we lost to the Broncos. They felt that was our closest. I know, Paul, you and I, we were definitely emotional. The 2009, 2010 Those were some pretty good ones too. But
yeah,
I do agree. 98 probably had, we had Curtis Martin and whatnot.
Vinny,
we had a better,
right?
Yeah, we had a better quarterback.
The Walt Michaels team that lost to Miami in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, sure. 80, what was that? 84. So yeah, I mean that's another one that's up there. And 98. It's funny that it's for multiple teams, Badshaw, because the Vikings at 98 team with Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and everybody, they had lost earlier in the day in 98. Ooh, you have a point on this. Okay, go ahead, please.
So okay, because I was gonna ask each one of you two guys, and then also guys in the chat, what they feel our best team was. But so for example, because I thought, well, most of these are just going to be like the Vikings. They've been to 4 Super Bowls. They've never won one, but it's going to be one of the Vikings Super Bowl teams. That's going to be their best year. Well, no, it was that 98 year that they blew it against Atlanta. So they weren't just saying whoever made it, the closest whatever round in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl, that's the team. But so I was wondering y'all's opinion on which team the Jets had that y'all would pick. But also, this was my kind of question as well.
Okay.
Was what about the Brett Favre year? Like, we didn't even make the playoffs that year, but I kind of felt like our team was riding on literally Brett Favre's shoulder and bicep and whatever else he had going on. But I'm like, I felt like that was a pretty good team. I mean, I have a little sentimental value because I watched them slap Tennessee around at the undefeated Titans in their own stadium. That was pretty nice. But that was a loaded team. I think somebody was talking about it the other day about our line being as loaded as they were back then. Our defense, we had a young Darrell Revis. We had a lot of stuff going.
Correct.
And whatnot. So what do y'all think about that?
First off, I just want to have a quick correction. NC Green mentioned it. That was the 82 season. I said 84 season for the season that our buddy Bob was just mentioning. So apologies, folks. Yes, I was wrong on that. My gut tells me 98 because of everything that we've already talked about with Vinny and how the team was constructed. But I do think 2008 deserves more love because it's to your point. I think a lot of people hopefully remember 98 Vikings. Like, that team was awesome in terms of any team that just was so good that didn't win it. And people remember them a little bit, not because they went to the Super Bowl, they went to the NFC Championship game, but people forget even more 2008 because not only did the Jets not go to the Super Bowl, they didn't even make the playoffs. They started 8-3 and then had the 1-4 collapse to go to 9-7 and went from number 1 seed in the AFC to whoop, you're out. So I think people forget how good that team was. And Brett Favre, and again, when you look at the raw numbers at the end of the season, whoa, Brett Favre had 22 touchdowns and 22 picks. Oh, that team sucked. But if you really calibrate it in the middle of the run when they were 8-3, his stats were much better. The team was much better.
Yeah,
so,
after he got hurt, it was basically forget about it.
Yeah, so 2008 would be totally up there for me, but I think 98 is the real answer to the question. I think it's Vinny's team, but maybe Bob to 1982 is going to speak differently.
No, I think the Rex years and the Parcell, team. They were really good, but my recollections of the 83 team, were pretty strong too. So, not a heck of a lot of difference because the 83 team would have gone to the Super Bowl if not for the water drenching.
Yes, right.
So they would have gone, and I think they would have had a good chance against the Redskins.
And I think, go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry.
Whereas Miami, they didn't even have a quarterback, and that's why they got basically walloped in the Super Bowl.
And of the Rex Ryan teams, because, sometimes the playoff games happen in the next year, but I normally remember them by season. So Brett Favre, to me, that's the 2008 season. For the AFC Championship games, the 2009 season was the, whoa, surprise. They got in and backdoored their way and bless myself.
There's a big difference at quarterback between Mark Sanchez and Vinny Testaverde.
Oh, for sure. But I think that of the Rex Ryan teams, 2010 was better because Sanchez got his feet under him. He wasn't just a a rookie anymore and then afraid to make mistakes. Like he got more confident in the 2010 season, which was the year 2011 when they beat the Patriots. So that was the better of the Rex Ryan teams for sure. They had a better record and everything too. They didn't back into the playoffs like that. So, but yeah, I'd probably say 98. But good question, Badshaw.
Yep, I think I think I lost y'all.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Oops. I was going to say have a good weekend too.
Yeah. Well, have a great weekend, Badshaw, and great little debate conversation. That's good for the show.
Yeah,
so appreciate it.
Interesting concept. Yeah.
Hadn't thought about that in a while. Thank you to the 400 people that are in the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. That's a free way to contribute. We're going to keep going through the phone calls. Appreciate all the super chats and everything as well. And the memberships, Austrian Jets fan, Luby Super Jets fan, DNY for life, Chef Kevin Gilbert for the Indy stuff. Oh, we have one more. Let me get this in here from your boy Philly Doodles. Wow. Ag Hall, trade him for a third and flip a fifth. To wait. I
same idea that I said before. Hall and a fifth.
Yes,
I actually said 2 fifths. I don't know how valuable they are, and a fifth for a third.
To me, that's not like just a pick swap for Breece Hall. Like I think, and again, if it was a size, if we're getting a 2 and I'm flipping a 5 and Breece, I feel better. A 3, I'm not so sure.
It's interesting as somebody described Breece Hall the other day as he's either a guy who breaks through the line and gets yards and it's hard to bring down, or he gets confused at the line of scrimmage, can't find a hole, and gets thrown for a 2 or 3 yard loss.
Yeah, and for the audio only listeners, let me repeat what Philly's offer was. He was saying tag Breece Hall and trade him and a fifth for a third. And then Indy, let's freaking go. Member for 19 months. Appreciate Philly Doodles here. So again, I would tag Breece Hall. I would not let him walk out the door. The Jets are going to, I know the comp pick thing is very complicated, but me and Bob last week had Nick Corte on of Over the Cap, and in an attempt to explain it. But again, the Jets are going to spend a lot of money this offseason, which is going to cancel anything you would have possibly gotten for Breece. So the only way to get an asset guaranteed is by trading him. And thus, the only way to trade him is by tagging him because he is set to be an unrestricted free agent. But good comment here. Thank you, Philly Doodles. And from Philly Doodles is Doodles in terms of Super Chat to hearing him in person. Whoa! He's got the goatee now. He's got a shave job. Look at that. Yeah.
Okay, first question as always. Where's the whiteboard?
It's my clean face. You know what I mean?
That's a blank canvas.
I didn't have the board, so this will do. For
looking good, Philly. Looking good.
Yeah, I assume the beard is not drawn on there with a marker. That looks real deal there. Yeah,
that would be fire. We had a big wig coming to work, and I was like, man, I look crazy. I said, I gotta get rid of this. It looks pretty wild. How you guys doing? Good morning, Bob. Good morning, BG.
Good morning.
Hey, another beautiful week, baby. Here on a Friday.
Yes,
we keep plugging along. Again, the Combine's right around the corner. Obviously, we have Super Bowl week, so there's a lot of Jets content. So very nice.
The excitement is there.
And assistant Jet coach is probably just around the corner.
Oh, yeah, right. The rest of the coaching staff is going to get filled, so that's true.
Yeah, as we speak, something's going to happen today. Yeah, definitely, and then Monday. I'm excited. It is what it is. I mean, I think Darren Muji's going to cook this offseason. He has to. Like, when you give a chef whatever's there, and we have a chef that we know, when you give him what's there, they're going to make something good if they're good. And he's going to make something cook. I mean, he did it during the season. He gets another off season. He's going to have to, right? This is to keep himself. But to me, it's more to keep Glenn around, to help Glenn out, because it just has to happen. So a few things I want to address if we have, the time.
Of course.
So Bob, yes, definitely agree. A fifth. And him for a third. And I say a third, and I know it's not as rich as we want because you don't have a third this year, right? Our team.
Correct.
And we are an immediate rebuild. Like, it has to happen. So during this draft, there is a lot of home run hits on and it's a deep defensive class. So if you go ahead early and decide you need to take a wide receiver, if Lemon falls, if Tate falls at 16 and you're not trading out, you immediately need to recuperate a defensive player again. So let's say they go 33 and they take linebacker or they go D-tackle. They're probably going to want to put a corner in there. They're probably going to want to, now you have a third-round pick. You're not waiting till 100. People don't realize how deep that is. We have
Right. Yeah,
4 in the top 50.
Yeah.
And then after 4 in the top 50, we have to wait till like 100 and something, right? 103?
Yeah. I wanted to pull that up here to see what's the big gap because we pick at 44. That's the second Cowboys pick, and then what is our next pick on the sheet? Yeah, the next pick after 44 is 103.
That's crazy. You don't want to wait 60 picks like that. That's sick.
I fully.
So let me ask you this:
yeah,
where would you trade Breece Hall, Philly?
Kansas City's desperate. They need to rebuild immediately. Like, they're in the scenario opposite of us. A rebuild to get back to the ring. We need a rebuild to come back to whatever, just existence. So to me, they'll do it. Why they almost did it for a fourth. If you're flipping a fifth, they're going to do it. That organization knows how to find players. They're not going to be worried about it. Or like Bob said, maybe they flip us a player, or it is what it is. But I think you have to give up a fifth to try to get a third.
Which, by the way,
I fully expect the Jets to trade into the first round and actually have a third first round pick.
If that's the case, I'm listen.
That could be possible.
If Jeremiah Love is there for some reason at 16, I'm thinking about it.
He won't be there at that.
I don't think so neither, but I'm thinking about it. If he's on the board, I don't care who's in that room. You're thinking about it.
Here's the thing, Philly, because I wanted to look at the numbers. So the Chiefs have the 74th overall pick in the third round. The Jets' current fifth rounder, again, there's some projections of what else we're going to get, is at like 175. So they'd be basically jumping 100 picks, which is a huge gap. In my head, because we always think of the Chiefs being awesome, but it's an end of third round pick. But they were terrible this year, so it's sort of top 10 third round pick. So this is a unique year where it's better. Because on the surface, hearing Breece Hall in a fifth for a third, I'm like, what the? That's like when we traded Elijah Moore and moved a little bit up from like a Elijah in a third for a second. I'm like, what the hell did we just do? How many spots did we just jump? But in this particular year, if they traded their end of fifth round pick, it'd be 100 slots. That's pretty significant. It's okay.
What do you think, Bob?
You're selling me on it a little bit more.
Well, I listened carefully to what Paul on Monday to the draft expertise, and obviously it's a deep defensive draft.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to take a defensive player at number 2. I'm afraid, I don't want it, but I'm afraid they're going to grab Simpson at some point, probably late first round. Maybe that's
Ty Simpson. Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's where they trade up because they look at Simpson and say, well, he isn't going to last much longer. It's because the feeling is that he's probably not as good as. He's not as good as some people think he is, and he's not as bad as other people think he is. I'm of the school of 1-year quarterbacks in college. Now, been there, done that. That's not a crapshoot. That's playing with one dice when you need 2. I don't buy that, but I think they're going to look at him. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people say about Nussmeier, because he's going to have his own pro day, and we'll see what happens. And as was also said yesterday about Allard's name just was dropped by Nick yesterday. And, to look at what his physical condition is and what he looks like, when he has a pro day, which he will, maybe that's
as long as he's healthy.
Yeah. Maybe that's a guy you grab in the 4th round or 5th round or whatever. So, but I really think the Jets are going to try to trade up in the first round, and I hope it's for an extra pick and not just to move up to grab somebody, because that would be, unless you get a really great player, that's really betting the odds. I don't know.
I feel I don't think they would do that in this case in point for this year, because 33 people really say is an extension of the first round, that first pick there, and at that point. No, I don't think Ty Simpson's would. I don't think they'll do that overreach. I really don't think Muji's going to allow it. For him to have moved the best 2 players we had on one side of the ball for what we got back, there's no way you're just taking risks and gambles with a class of QBs that is not even. Is
that how you look at Simpson?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. I listen. There's some people who are like, okay, if everyone's saying his intangibles are great and whatever. You're not telling me that Frank Reich coming off the couch from Stanford is just going to come in and make Simpson amazing overnight. It's that takes years of development. So now we're saying that Glenn has bought himself years after a 3-14 season and losing 5 in December. Like, there's no way that is categorically on. Like, there's no way. I think Glenn knows I need stout defensive players with whatever extra picks we have, fill in here and there for offense. Even if it's a deep class of defense, he needs like some guys there. Like, you know what I mean? Like 100%. I think CJ Allen at 33 would be impossible. So I take the kid out of Texas. He's got a Texas connection. Glenn, he's from Texas. I think he'll see that kid as a hard player. And the kid's like 6'4", and he moves really fluidly. I think that would be a great pick at 33 if he's there. I don't think it would make logical sense to grab a QB in the first round whatsoever of this regime here, especially when you got 3 next year. The whole Dante Moore situation. Well, I don't care if it's Dante Moore, Archie Manning, the Duke of Earl, whatever we want to do with 3 first-round picks, we can go do what we want. No team is like, who's calling? Oh, the team with the most picks this year? Nah, we don't want that. Hang up.
By the way, I think that here's another place where Dunbar fits in really well, because they don't really have otherwise a very experienced defensive guy who has seen it all and who can help them in deciding which defensive players, particularly linemen, that he likes, that he thinks he can mold into something special. Because you're not going to get it from the kid they brought in to be the defensive coordinator, and Aaron Glenn's got too much on his plate already.
Yeah. So I'll end it with this, because I know you got plenty of people probably. So we're talking about quarterbacks. Well, first off, let me talk about what's his name was bringing up, Batshaw. I got to say that 2009, 2010 Jets, obviously I'm 38. I witnessed
the first
that.
one or the second one? Which one are you talking about?
Well, the team, I forget which year it was,
One that
but the one with Schottenheimer.
Or the one that lost to Pittsburgh?
I think it's Pittsburgh when they ran the ball. Or was it Indy when they ran the ball 4 times at the end zone?
That was, I believe, yes, that was the AFC championship. No. Yeah, that was the first one, I believe. Championship. So that was the 2009 team. You're talking about the first AFC championship team. That's when they were at the
when he ran the ball 4 times, Schottenheimer, instead of throwing the ball once, but he, that's obviously the trust in Sanchez wasn't there. So that's
right. And then Russell Wilson, right? So the Malcolm Butler pick. So there's risk both ways, I guess.
Yeah, so that hurts. And then I'll say this when it comes to quarterbacks, that I would root for Justin Fields if he got to the Grey Cup with the Argonauts and then lost. Sure. I would appreciate a loss at the Grey Cup with the Argonauts. All right, gentlemen. Have a good day.
I think Toronto and Montreal are beckoning for you.
Yes. Again, the Argonauts.
By the way, I'm rooting on Sunday for Seattle. I like Darnold. I like him as a person. And I felt sorry for what happened to him, because in retrospect, and it's easy in 2020 hindsight to say they shouldn't have gotten rid of him and instead drafting Zach the way they did. But I've always liked him, and I watched him even after he left, and I gave him all the credit in the world, even though he benefited greatly from being in San Francisco and seeing the system. And I think they really created, the player that we see today. But I like Sam Darnold, and I wish him the best on Sunday.
And the stop in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, I think, was critically important for his development.
It certainly helped.
Yeah, I think there are 2 things here for me for Sam. I don't want to speak for other people why they root for Sam Darnold or don't root for Sam Darnold. There's 2 reasons why I root for Sam Darnold. First off, I think the Jets effed Darnold more than the Darnold effed the Jets. Joe Douglas promised protection playmakers and didn't deliver on the promise of Sam Darnold. So he had certainly failures of himself for it not working out, but I think the Jets did more to him than he did to them. So that makes me root for him because it wasn't all.
Well, it shows the coaching was not there. The coaching of this young quarterback was not there.
Can confirm. And then the other side of it is that despite what I just said being true, that would make it very easy for Sam Darnold and any other media opportunity he had to say, you see what the Jets did? I had Rashad Perriman as my receiver. I had I had Adam Gase and all these other things. Like Darnold could have easily dunked on the Jets because guess what? Every other person in the universe does. Aaron Rodgers, he was like the greatest Jet when he was here. Oh, wow, this is so fun. And as soon as he leaves, like, fuck the Jets. They suck. They're dysfunctional. And then us Jet fans feel hurt and pain Sam Darnold, every chance he's had to dunk on the Jets, he refuses. He says, no, I love my time with the Jets. I'm never going to forget it. It was such an important experience. And whether he believes it or not, I guess that's up to interpretation, but he doesn't bash the Jets. I think Jet fans rally around that. He had every right to bash the Jets, and he didn't. I think that made him even closer to us. So I will absolutely, I'll confirm it right now, and you'll see it on the Sunday show for the Super Bowl. I'm wearing my Sam Darnold jersey here on the show, baby. I am wearing it during the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for him like nobody's business. There's no question. So I'm super excited for Sam, and again, great all around the board. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Mr. Famous Fulton joins us here on the show. Mr. Famous Fulton.
Anybody there?
Mr. Famous Fulton.
Hello.
No, Mr. Famous
All
Fulton.
right.
But we'll do the next closest thing there for Mr. Famous Fulton. Here you go. There you go, Mr. Famous Fulton. You're with us in spirit.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets.
Just a vote or two away from the Emmys.
There you go. Yeah, he's getting closer and closer. So thank you, Mr. Famous Fulton, for those very brief contributions to the program. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Up next, your buddy Bill Ameley.
Hey, Bill,
Gentlemen,
good
how
morning.
are you today?
Hey, Bill. Hey, good morning.
Hey, Bill, grown it deep.
Yeah, very nice. Nice beard.
Yeah,
Came back very quickly.
Coming to you live from North Carolina. I'm visiting
wow.
Oh, yeah,
my
you
sister.
born this last week. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm I celebrated my 68th birthday yesterday. So
Oh, congratulations. Happy birthday.
yeah,
Belated.
yeah.
Did you see the
yeah, I was
groundhog or no?
No, I kind of missed the groundhog.
Okay.
I think I've seen the groundhog on the news thing about twice in my lifetime, and that's about it.
Okay.
You know, somebody pointed out the other day that the groundhog can't fail to see his shadow because they look for it at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's dark and all the lights are on around him. So how is he not going to see a shadow?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure his predictions have not been too good either. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's probably
So
true.
Sunday, who you like Sunday?
Yeah,
Bill?
Super Bowl pick.
Seahawks, definitely.
Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Nice.
Just as long as Sam doesn't see any ghosts, we'll be okay.
Yeah, because that's not that I'm picking the Seahawks. I feel very confident, and I don't feel like I'm just picking it because I hate the Patriots, although that certainly helps. But like, that's the thing, of course, none of us want to see, that he sees ghosts. And the Patriots, right, that they've cooked up a good game plan over the last 2 weeks, and they frustrate him. And all of a sudden, he starts to implode and have a 4-interception game. And then the Patriots get the Super Bowl. And then everyone's going to be clowning the Jets. See, Sam Darnold's that same little Jet he was in New York. I want to see the redemption arc. I want to see him. If anyone's kicking someone's ass, I want Seattle to be beating the New England Patriots so bad. And again, us as Jet fans vicariously live through Sam and go, yeah, take it, New England.
Drake May has had his problem.
If Seattle's
Good.
Yeah, if Seattle's defense plays their A game, May's going to have a rough time in the pocket. That's all I can say. It's going to be rough.
He's had a hard time against lesser defenses in the playoffs.
Yeah. I was thinking about the earlier conversation about the $1,100 that
oh my goodness, for Wi-Fi,
Jake is paying for Wi-Fi. But I'm saying, if it's for the entire week that he's been there, that's actually not bad. I would take that in a heartbeat.
And apparently it is, according to the comment section, it is. And again, I think, as someone else said, you can write it off on your taxes as a business expense. That's also true. And I've never done it before, so like, hey, I'm speaking from over here. But I hope to one day go to these events because I think that'd be cool for the show to be at these events, get to talk to all these people, and that again, you just sort of bet on yourself that it's going to be worth it, that you're going to get the most out of it. You're going to talk to a lot of guests. You guys in the audience are going to enjoy. Oh wow, Paul talked to this coach and this player and this. We can bring some cool stuff, and then hopefully it's an exciting thing we have forever. So yeah, while again on the surface, 1,100 plus whatever you probably paid for plane tickets and hotels and food, and there's a lot of crap. It's very expensive. It's hard for a lot of people to go, but to your point, you get it for the full week, and then all the guests you sort of get by nature through that. It sounds like a wise investment in my mind.
Yeah, and I believe he easily makes more than enough income to offset
Sure,
the
right.
expense. So it's not really a big deal when you think about it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, when it comes to Breece, well, he's a frustrated player. I mean, who wouldn't be under the circumstances?
Sure.
He is a running back who, if utilized properly, could catch the ball. Become a threat both with the run and the pass. And it always seems that our coaches, no matter who they are, they recognize that he has the talent, but they never seem to write up the plays to take full advantage of his abilities. And and when you do that plus the losing, I mean, who wouldn't be frustrated? About trading him, I don't know. I still think we should keep the man. We should keep the man and finally utilize him the way he was meant to, and the winning will start turning his attitudes around real quick. And I'm glad that Phillips made the comments that he did, just to give another side of the of our mindset in terms of maybe it's not all on AG after all,
Right.
and yeah. And as far as Fields taking a team to the Super Bowl, I see him more likely as being a closet salesman, okay? Selling closets. And when things are going rough, they're a great place to hide, okay? So
from
a
what I
closet
hear,
salesman more often.
well, I will say this on the Breece thing. I think there's two things here. First off, if you look at Frank Reich with Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis, that was a lot of good things. So if you're Breece Hall and you see the vision of Frank, and it sounds like Jake is interviewed sort of a lot of these players like Adonai Mitchell, Tyrod Taylor, and a few of these guys. And apparently Frank Reich or the players have already reached out to each other to talk. So I love to hear that. That's great. So I hope that Breece Hall and Frank Reich have already spoken and talked about that vision. And again, if you're a Jets fan that's on the fence, and sometimes I go back and forth, like, I'm all for Breece. Maybe I'm not. All I have to do is watch a Breece Hall highlight tape with the Jets of his top 10 plays and see the home run hits, the screen passes to the house for a touchdown. And that revs, I don't know what it does for other people. For me, it revs that engine immediately back up. I'm like, ooh, I see it. These are the exciting plays where we're going, Breece, and we're going crazy. Like, oh, yeah. So that's great.
Yeah. And go Knicks, go Mets, go Jets.
There you go.
And the Rangers, oh my God, I can't believe it. They were a solid playoff team not too long ago, and now they're really struggling, and I don't know what to make of that. I wish everyone a wonderful weekend.
You too, Bill.
Hopefully the weather in your particular location won't be too bad, although I hear these very frigid conditions coming our way to the New York area. So everyone be safe, have fun, go Jets.
You too. Enjoy the game, Bill.
No, there he is. Bill
how's
Ainley.
How's the snow situation now in Oneonta?
It is. I'm not sure I'm not sure about Oneonta, but in Oswego.
I'm sorry, Oswego.
No, that's okay. They're all O-lettered cities. They're all the same.
They're all the same. Yeah.
I'm somewhere randomly in New York. Who cares? Thankfully, it stopped just piling up. So like, there's been light snow. It snows 6 inches or something, and then you shovel it, and it's gone. So thankfully, that part
light
of it
snow is 6 inches.
I guess it's all relative to wherever you're getting the pile of snow, but like we were getting feet, so like 6 inches in comparison to the feet are like, oh, thank God. So yes, we've been getting light snow here in Oswego recently, but the frigid temperatures is going to keep it.
It'll just make future winters that much more bearable because you'll say, hey, this isn't as bad as it was in 2025, 26.
I will say that this has been a pretty bad year. We've had a few okay years, but this one is the worst it's been in a while. So we'll see. Maybe we were just due for it, I suppose, from that perspective. All right. I believe we have take 2 of Mr. Famous Fulton. Let's try this again. Mr. Famous Fulton.
Morning, Bob. Morning, Bob.
Oh,
morning,
yeah. Top of the morning.
How are you?
Doing all right. It's snowing in Indiana right now.
Oh boy. Yep. Sorry, we
Where
brought
are
that
you?
up.
Where are you in Indiana?
Cicero.
Okay.
Cicero. Okay. Yeah, we have
And
a
for
Cicero,
those who
New
are
York.
uninitiated like me, where the heck is Cicero?
It is in Hampton County. That's where it's
How
at.
far is that from Indianapolis?
Not that far for us.
Oh, great.
Just
Oh,
like
that's
an
nice.
hour.
Well, what's on your mind, Mr. Famous Fulton?
Well, I got a basketball tournament coming up this Sunday.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, we play Sunday morning around 10:30 in the morning.
Oh, great.
We play the Lake County Red Devils on
Okay.
Sunday morning.
All right. Well, screw the Red Devils. Let's go, Mr. Famous Fulton.
Yep. So hopefully we can win our game, and if we win our first game, we'll play the second game at 1:30. If we lose that game, we play at 12:30.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good luck. I hope you power through and score a bunch of points, Mr. Famous Fulton.
Yep, I'm still waiting for that package, Paul.
Yeah, so it should be coming soon. So hopefully it makes it through whatever our weather situation is.
Yeah, I can tell you the U.S. Postal Service is not exactly Johnny on the spot these days.
So sorry, Mr. Famous Fulton. So hopefully, it's there at some point in the next 20 years. So hopefully it gets there.
All right, I will keep on waiting. So, all
right, beautiful.
Have a good weekend.
Enjoy your
guys.
weekend.
Yeah, you too, Mr. Famous Fulton. Yes, please let us know when it arrives. Again, another massive shout out to Stephen Fox, who's in our audience. He won the prize pack this past month. He decided to donate it to Mr. Famous Fulton, which was a very beautiful gesture. So thank you very much. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. It's your favorite buddy who gifted 5 memberships earlier, Devin, DNY for life.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Okay.
Good, Devin. How are you?
There he is.
Whoa, no. Here, wait, where did I go? Am I here?
Oh, nope. Now you're gone.
Well,
I just see you.
yeah.
Now you're here. Yeah, there we go.
All right, give us
What's
give us some
going on?
since you're tuned this way. Give us some inspiration.
Yeah,
Since I was in tune, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means, but yeah.
You're
not
tuned
sure
to the
either.
positive. So give us some.
Oh,
inspiration.
attuned to the positive. I see what you're saying. No,
Well,
I
my
get it.
positive is,
My
positive is I love Richie.
Yep.
I appreciated his interview that he had with
Harrison Phillips. Very nice.
Harrison Phillips. Dude, made me like Harrison Phillips just a little bit more.
100%.
Being that, he talked about this mentality, and that's what AG's got to get rid of. So made me want to hold on to the rope a little bit more. I didn't see the one with Adonai Mitchell because I heard Jake interviewed him as well. I hadn't seen that, but I just wanted to, that was something that I'm like, let's keep holding on to this rope. And the thing is that I love. I was working out this morning in the gym, and I'm watching ESPN. I don't know what they're saying. I'm listening to my music.
Sure.
But I just see the whole Sam Darnold, I'm seeing ghost bullshit again.
Yeah.
And I said, how many times I was going to see that, before the Super Bowl. I don't know. I don't watch ESPN that often anymore, but I was like, how? This is the thing. Like they come to. Let's just glance over the fact that the Minnesota Vikings, he won 14 games with them, and they sucked last year. And if they had kept them, maybe they would be in the playoffs this year. You know what I'm saying? But no, let's go back to the Jets. So that's why I say F the media. And that's why I'm with AG not putting out anything out there because you know what? For what? And then people are like, well, we need to hear from AG. We need to hear from the owner. But the minute that he speaks, they're like criticizing him for whatever he says. So it's like, you know what? Just be quiet. Just be quiet. I love the Frank Wright hire. I think it's going to be a good hire for us. You know what I mean? We need stability, man. Right now, we need somebody that's going to be an adult in the room, that's going to create some stability, that's, not going to get too high, too low. I want to see what he's going to bring in for, for his offensive staff. So we got a good O-line. Our D-line, that's the guy that's coming back for our D-line. Man, the trenches is where you win, right? You'll agree with that. And I think for what he did for the Steelers for all those years, I think that gives me hope again for Will McDonald, because I feel like Will McDonald now is going to be able to learn a little bit more about what he needs to do on the D-line, right? And so I think, though, because I also think we're probably going to switch to a 3-4, and then we're gonna draft Reese, because that would make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I love Bain. Bain would be my first choice. Let's not get it twisted, but I'll take some Reese because that kid is a freak. And if he needs somebody, if he has someone to teach him how to use his talents, we can maximize that. And that's been the problem with the Jets, right? We haven't been able to help dudes maximize their talent. And my thing is, Breece. I love Breece, man. But you know what? If you don't want to be with us, then you against us. You know what I'm saying? So then we got to get whatever we can get for you and move on. I would love if we could somehow sneak Love in, but you know, we need a lot of help at the defense. But shout out to Indy too. I wanted to say that. Shout out to listening all week. Shout out to you, Indy. I'm thinking about you, brother. Praying for you, brother, and pray that you get well, man. Love Indy, man. He's a great dude. Love meeting him. Look forward to seeing him get the tailgate again this year, because you know what?
He's
going to be there.
That's what he said. He says he can't wait to be there. So I hope we get everyone back, as Devin, you, your wife, your kid, everybody. I mean, oh, my Aunt Jet's 82 and Badshaw, and I'm gonna Shad and I'm gonna miss people.
Yeah, Badshaw, love Bradshaw too.
Oh,
wanted to shout him out as well, and Philly Noodles.
Philly, he was there as well.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, I got to show you something, BG. I wanted to call in because I wasn't able to call in last week, but I just wanted to let you know.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, Devin.
Here we go, baby. That's what I'm talking about right there. You know what I'm saying? We got the coffee club right here, baby. Let's go.
There you go. Beautiful. Yes, the brand new Boy Green merch shop, baby.
Word. No doubt. You know, I got to support my guy. And Bob, I'm glad I heard you got that in the mail, so that's what's up. I was a little nervous about that. I'm like, man, what's going on? Because I'm like, what in the world? But I'm glad that you guys are, everybody, man, we got to stay positive, man. These Jets fans out here, bro. I'm to all you Jets fans, spread the word to other Jets fans, man. Let's not lose hope before we could even have the season start, man. Let's see what the team does in the offseason. We appear to be putting together a decent staff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not complaining about the staff that we're putting together. It's not the fastest, and it could be a little bit more expeditious. That's true. But you know what? All good things come to those who wait. Let's just wait, bro. Let's just wait. We've been waiting 15 years to get the playoffs. Let's just, you know what? Let's put our energy into that, man. I want to put my energy into that. But, you know, and I'm definitely rooting for Seattle. Absolutely, 100%. Like, my buddy, I love him. I talked to him last night. His wife's birthday was yesterday. He's from Maine. He's a Patriots fan. And he's like, "Who you going for the Super Bowl?" I was like, "Bro, you know I'm not. You know I ain't rooting for your team. You know I ain't rooting for your team, bro. We keep it real.
Yes, 100%.
Never gonna root for the Patriots. Never. You know what I'm saying? But if his team win, I'll be happy for him. But F the Patriots. I'm trying not to curse.
That's it, Devin.
But yeah, man. I appreciate it, fellas, man. You started to check in. You know, I don't get to check in too often, but appreciate you guys. And to all the coffee club out there, man, let's stay positive, bro. Oh, Chef Kev, love you, bro. And I told you AG's a lot smarter than what you're giving him credit for. You know what I'm saying? All y'all doubting AG and his, you know, his abilities, but he's, you know what? Silence is golden. Silence is golden. He's moving like a bad boy in silence, and I'm gonna keep supporting my dude for as long as he's a Jet, bro.
AG Truth
Jet, bro. Jet for life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm letting somebody else get up on here. I just had to check in for a minute. Get to talk to you fellas. I know I did a lot of the talking today, but
hey, I love the talking. Hey, that's what the callers are for, is for some talking. So, Devin, you're the best, brother.
Appreciate
you. Have a great weekend.
And this was from Boss Girl, who's watching it. She says, "Love Devin's energy. It's infectious." And I will tell you, at the again, we're going to do the tailgate again. So, folks out in the audience, if this is your first time hearing about it, we host a tailgate at a Jets home game. It's coming up this season. We'll let you know when all the details come in. But basically, have your money ready, because there's going to be we'll have a group ticket rate, so you'll get it at a discount, and you won't have to pay taxes on it, or the extra fees that you have to pay on it, which is great. We're going to have a food package and all kinds of other stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys can all come to that. It was an absolute.
By the way, he mentioned the benefits of Dunbar. I think Dunbar is really going to be especially effective with Jermaine and with Briggs.
Oh, sure. Right. And Will too, man. I just can't wait. It's going to be great. So I'm happy that he got the Carl Dunbar edition. That was marvelous. And again, folks, if you loved all that Boy Green merch, that's our brand new Boy Green merch shop in the YouTube description down below. We've totally redid it. I had too many complaints about the old merch shop I used to use, so I've completely changed it. So it seems like it's getting to all the great people out in the audience. So amazing. Again, all the details in the YouTube description down below. We have 500 people in the room. Guys, like the video, hit subscribe. We have just under 100 watching on YouTube of the 500 that are watching on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere else. So appreciate you guys out in the audience. Let's freaking go. And I see one more question real quick. Old Yank says, do we have some man-child action today? Yes, we'll have a Super Bowl pick show. It'll be me, Matt Lombardo. We'll probably talk about the Hall of Fame class too from last night. That'll be coming up in a little bit. And then for those that dabble, we'll have a Syracuse basketball show and an NBA trade deadline show. So yes, we'll have 3 shows coming out, Old Yank, later today if you guys are paying attention on the MC Show digital channel. All right, back to the phone lines. Up next, we have Troy Sturgis here on the program. What's up, Troy?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Morning, Troy.
Excellent.
Hey, first of all, Seattle. I'll
Yeah.
never root for New England on anything.
Yeah, hell no.
And
Damn straight.
second of all, love Devin's energy. Man, that is awesome. And honestly, I don't know. It just seems to me like we're starting to fall back into that positive attitude. We always do, you know.
Yes, nice.
And as bad as it looked at the end of the year, we're always like, hey, there's light. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Even
And
though
maybe
Nick Ferrier said yesterday, there's nothing to really feel optimistic about
Hey,
yet, but just wait.
But it's just the different moves that Glenn
Yeah.
and Muji's making so far in the offseason, I think, is bringing some positivity
Yes,
to our New York Jets.
for sure. That feels good.
Is there a chance
Mhm.
that Justin Fields is on this team? Or
You cut out there a little bit at the end, but I assume you're saying, is Justin Fields on the team next year? Is there a chance? I guess you have to say that it's possible. Because like he's on the team right now, so like I suppose it is possible, but it would very much surprise me. And it's not just about whether he could be a fit in a Frank Reich offense or not. Just there was, and I know Taylor Sterling hates when I bring this up, but there was a lot of accusations of Justin Fields from the peanut gallery that suggested he sort of tapped his helmet and sort of quit on the team when asked to do certain things. And again, Taylor Sterling in our audience questions that and hates that and doesn't like the sourcing that was done on that by ESPN's Rich Samini and others. But folks, you know, I didn't love hearing that on Justin. And if we're just being honest, beyond any of that stuff, Justin just sucked this year. I mean, he had 4 games of under 60 passing yards. So either you're going to blame that on Tanner Engstrand, who's not here, or you're blaming that on Justin, or you're blaming it on both. So no, I think they're going to put and I've described it this way all offseason, they're lighting a stick of dynamite. They're shoving it in the quarterback room and they're running for dear life. And it's going to blow up. And then they're going to, whatever pieces are left, they're going to put it back together. One quick comment on the quarterback thing, though. So, like Tyrod Taylor, he's a guy that, like, if he came back and he was a QB3 battling for QB2, maybe I'd be okay. But to be honest, I was kind of cool moving on from Tyrod Taylor. And then he did an interview yesterday with Jake, and it started plucking my heartstrings. And Jake, and I get so influenced emotionally. And he brought up to Jake, like, you know, like, oh, you're a free agent. Do you want to re-sign with the Jets? And he says, yes, I'd love to be here, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of his answer, he said, I was a part of a drought once, and I would love to be a part of a second one. And for those who don't know Tyrod Taylor's history, he helped snap the 17-year playoff drought with the Buffalo Bills. It's even longer than ours. Ours is currently at 15 years. I hope we don't break that record. I prefer not to have it 17, 18, or God knows however long it is. I hope we break it this year. But that was just such a cool comment from Tyrod and gets you going like, man, this guy wants to be a part of the change, and he talked about that during his interview with Jake. So that I'm like, damn it, I was out on Tyrod Taylor. And then all of a sudden, very quickly, they just have this ability. We all know it.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
I was out, and then they pulled me back in. I'm like, damn it, now I'm back in on Tyrod.
Yeah. Well, you look at our quarterback room now. How many we got? 5?
So let's see. Let me think of all the guys that are under contract. So Justin Fields is under contract. Tyrod's a free agent, so if you count him or not, that's up to you. Brady Cook is under contract. Hendon Hooker is set to be a free agent, so he doesn't count. We did sign Bailey Zappi, former New England Patriot great, of course. So there you go. So I believe right now, technically they have 3 with 2 that are set to walk out the door if they choose to bring either back.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
lots of room in there.
I think Hendon Hooker, that could be a positive, I think. But I really do believe, I think Justin Fields is staying on the team. I mean,
oh really? Okay, we'll see what happens.
He's signed, and I know a lot of people like myself. I hated the fact that he quit on the team and wanted to do whatever to help.
Yeah, I think he's one of those potential sources of cancer that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Seriously, you got to. It's once a guy's attitude turns to the negative, it's really hard to bring it back.
Yeah, and I think honestly, we was talking about Breece earlier. His attitude was like that as well, and especially at the first of the season, it was Aaron Glenn that actually talked him back into come back.
Right.
In,
Yeah.
So to me, I think those guys, they could be gone. I think we trade Breece during the draft.
Ooh, wow, nice. Okay.
And because we didn't trade him when we should have and got what we could, but
So the only problem with that, if that is to happen, for people who don't know, because again, the only way they can trade him, they have to tag him. And if they tag him, so the franchise tag number, this is a projection. It's not official yet because we don't have the official cap from the National Football League yet. We should get that somewhere in the next 2 weeks. It's going to be around 15 million, just a hair short of 15 million. When you franchise tag someone, whether he signs the tag or not, it doesn't matter. When you tag somebody, that immediately comes off your cap automatically. Now, people aren't going to be crying rivers for the Jets. They have 82 million in cap space, so 15 out of 82 million, beep, boop, bop. All of a sudden, they're at 67 million. So they still have plenty of money. But if they hold that through to the draft, potentially, that 15 million is on the books all the way through the draft until you trade him. Mm-hmm. So just to factor that in for the Jets, if they factor that in, if they plan on spending a lot of money, that could come into play. So that will be a potential factor. But if
they were to cut Justin Fields, what's the implication on the cap?
Yeah, so there's a 22 million dead cap hit for moving on from Justin Fields, and the Jets will have one of 2 options because so he signed a 2-year deal for 40 million. 30 million of that was guaranteed. He basically got 20 million of that in year number 1. So there's a $10 million guaranteed base salary for the 2026 season. They could just eat it all now or choose to split it. That would be a post June 1 designation where you could split the dead cap hit, and thus you would get some cap space for this year if you did a post June 1 designation. Now the Jets don't need the cap room, but they didn't really need it for the Aaron Rodgers thing either. They decided to split it. So teams seem to like to split it, and the cap increases.
An extra $5 million, added to 70 something that they've got, it might be a difference maker.
Right. So maybe it plays a factor.
And that's why I think that they keep him, just because they owe him so much and make him battle for a third role. But yeah, I think Darren Muji gets rid of Breece and tries to get what he can out of him, maybe a 4th or a 5th.
All right, let's see what happens. Appreciate you, Troy. Thanks, brother. All right, there he is, our buddy Troy joining us on the show. By the way, a new member to the Boy Green Espresso Club. We have a meeting coming up later this month on that. The other reason why I think Justin Fields is gone is, folks, let's not forget, I know it's been a couple of months, Woody Johnson ripped this man apart. I was going to say poor man, but he's getting paid $40 million. Like, geez, Alou, he blamed him for all the losing. And he said, it's hard for AG to win with a quarterback like that. Okay. He had to stay on the team for the rest of the year, but is that guy going to come back again and continue to be under that owner? I don't know, man. That seems hard to believe, but hey, you never know. The football's a weird place. I wouldn't have thought that after that Woody Johnson rant, Justin Fields would return to the starting lineup that same week. So that surprised me too, but I guess you never know out there in the universe. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Let's go back to the phone lines. Up next is Carl here on the show. Carl?
Whoops, can't hear you, Carl.
Yeah, Carl, you're having some sort of an audio issue here. You're not on mute on StreamYard, so it must be something you're dealing with. Could be your headset situation. Nothing. All right, Carl, we'll circle back to you. I don't know what's going on there. Yes. I thought sometimes on some of Carl's calls, there's a delay. So he will talk and I see his mouth moving, and then all of a sudden words start coming. And then it's an interrupt train where I'm like, ooh, oh, oh, oh. And so we'll circle back to you, Carl, and see what the hell's going on there. Let's go back here. Johnny Boy's up next here on the show. Oh, boy. I guess not. Johnny? Oh, no, Johnny. Wow. Okay. A few technical difficulties. All right. Let's go to Bachelor number 3, Bobby Jr.
Hello.
Well,
oh, thank God. I was about to say.
So regale us with tales of Frank Reich and your quarterback for 3 years there, who was not the guy that he was.
Jacoby.
Yes. I wanted to congratulate you on the start of the Third Reich in New York.
Thank you very much. Yes.
And I wanted to
actually the second Reich.
Yeah,
I wanted to. No, I think this is his third time as OC, isn't it?
Not well, no.
As OC. I think Bob Senior was talking about his stints with the Jets. This is a second opportunity after being a player in '96.
Okay. I wanted to let you in on something very personal. Okay, in my marriage. All right,
okay.
My wife and I have my wife and I have a bit where we say, "Hear me out." Okay.
All right.
And what always follows a "hear me out" is the most absurd suggestion possible. Okay. So I want to tell you, gentlemen, hear me out.
Okay, sure. All
right. You could get a very budget, but experienced quarterback that has good synergy with Mr. Reich. Okay.
All right.
And his name is Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better than a Carson Wentz pitch. Okay.
No.
Okay. Thank God. All right. Go
ahead.
There
in Colts lore, there's a special play known as third and Jacoby. Okay.
Okay. All right.
In short yardage situations,
yes.
third and Jacoby is known as a 100% success rate play.
Wow. I love that. Jets fans have had a lot of problems historically with QB sneaks and the lack of success that every other team in the league has. So I love that third and Jacoby. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yes. So I'm just going to put that out there. All right. You heard me out. I appreciate it.
Okay. He had one good year with.
Yeah, so Bobby, you Jr., you can correct us on this, but I'm pretty sure. So he was there for 3 years in Indianapolis. 2 of the 3 years, Jacoby was a backup, and he came in for even when I've seen this before when I was randomly watching Colts games. That even if the starting quarterback was healthy, they would sometimes bring in Jacoby as the lead QB sneak guy. And I believe in 2 of the 3 seasons he was a primary backup, and then he had that one really nice year with Frank where he had like a 18 touchdown, 6 interception ratio. He had like just under 3,000 yards. It sort of reminded me of like a Josh McCown year for the Jets back in 2017. So very efficient, effective kind of year that he had. So it looked like there's that one nice year there with Jacoby in Indy.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's not, because the reason he's not a franchise quarterback at this point in his career.
Right.
But I would not be shocked if they bring him in. So that's just your spoiler alert. All right.
Okay.
And Reich knows him very well.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got a better chance of Jacoby Brissett than you do him bringing in Andrew Luck from Stanford. So,
I wanted one of the two. So you know what? If he can, whichever coin he flips,
that's fair. That is fair.
I don't know what they're going to have to give up to get him. I think he's still got 2 years left on his contract.
1 year left for Jacoby Brissett on his deal. Now, I've heard conflicting things. Nick Ferry's like 7th round pick, basically. I'm like, oh, wow. I thought he would have been more valuable. I thought it would have been like a 5th. So I guess we'll see. The Cardinals have a brand new coaching staff, so they have no attachments anymore to Jacoby. And it sounds like they want to get rid of Kyler Murray, too. So maybe the Jets will benefit from that situation. But either way, Jacoby as one of the options in the quarterback room to me makes a ton of sense. So some third and Jacoby action. I like it, Junior.
Yeah, that's your heads up.
Thank you.
I can assure you that Frank Reich, I'm sure, has plenty left in the tank. I just wouldn't rely on him after more than like 1 or 2 years because people seem to figure him out.
Well, as Paul mentioned yesterday, he has raised our bottom from.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what the ceiling is of a 64-year-old play caller on the ceiling aspect, but floor, he just has credibility. He has.
Yeah, he's competent. He's competent.
Yeah,
That's
competent, 100%. And I think that's good. The Jets haven't had competency in a long time. So if you give me competency, that's progress. That's an update over what we've had. So that's sort of my expectation. I think life is about expectation. You set an unrealistic expectation, and then you go do something. You're like, wow, that sucked. Based on what? Your expectation? So making sure that's calibrated appropriately, I think, sort of helps you go through here. To me, competency.
He's competent, but I will say, okay, that towards the end of his tenure, his competency could not make up for a lack of talent, and also his preferences in the draft not exactly pan out either. So it's a mixed bag. I
thought the general manager was the boy genius.
Well, yeah, but I think both the coordinators definitely have to have a say in who they're who they're getting on their side of the ball.
Of course, yeah.
So I think Reich pounded the table, I think, for Wentz, and I think he picked a few of the guys on offense, and I think it was mixed. I think he was behind, I think, Pittman. I think Ballard was behind Jonathan Taylor. But I don't think he had the best track record in terms of other picks. His judgment is not perfect.
What was Wright the coach when we saw them play the Jets in Indianapolis?
In 2021.
That would have been right because he was there from 2018 to 2022.
Yeah.
So you guys would have seen
their defense made Josh Johnson look like he was going to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, well, that was the Matt
briefly, right? Yeah.
That was the Matt Eberflus special.
Salute to Matt Eberflus.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Well, I love your byline here. Colts expert, Jets doubter, Bobby Jr. That's quite a resume there.
Yes, and I don't know if anyone was speaking about this earlier. I saw someone mention it in the chat, but I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that the Colts are letting Alec Pierce out of the building.
Yeah, so I wasn't aware of this, so maybe Bobby, you could speak to this. I saw it in a recent column, and it just sort of caught me off guard. I guess it shouldn't have, but you could speak to it. So apparently Frank Reich and Alec Pierce have some special relationship. I didn't even know they knew of each other. I mean, I guess it's football. Anyone can know anyone. But yeah, someone wrote a column saying they have some special bond or something. And like, whoa, something to watch for free agency. I went, wow. I didn't even have that on my bingo card.
That's the first time I'm hearing of it.
All right, great. So then we both hadn't heard of it. So maybe it's all malarkey. But I heard that. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. Okay. I
don't know. I'd have to give that a Google search.
I don't know what the talent level was on the team at Stanford when Reich was the coach for that one interim year.
Oh yeah, for the interim year. I imagine not very good. Stanford.
I'd imagine he's got an insight in maybe one or two guys there that might be of interest to the Jets.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, so Bobby Jr., you say Alec Pierce isn't leaving for the building. Are you guys going to tag him or something or what?
I don't know if they're going to. I mean, the cap is going to go way up, so I wouldn't be shocked if they tagged him. But I think there are a number of options that, and I realize this is like Colts minutia that most people here probably don't give a shit about, but they've got a lot of options to restructure contracts, which they haven't really done in Chris Ballard's tenure outside of the last year or two. And they may. I've heard the take that they'll either cut or extend Pittman to lower his cap hit. To keep both of them.
That's what's going to be my follow-up, Bobby Jr. Because how much are they paying Pittman? That's got to be
Pittman. They're paying him a lot of money. They're paying him a lot of money, and they can save a lot by cutting him or extending him. So the question is whether they care more about keeping him or letting him go. So between the two, if you had a hope for a Colts wide receiver, I think Pittman might be more.
That's interesting.
More likely.
I didn't even think about that. I was just going to say that there are plenty of teams, and I was going to say successful, but that's up to the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There's plenty of teams in the league that pay two receivers a lot of money. Cincinnati's on that list with obviously Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Eagles are on that list with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown currently at this moment in time. Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. So there's several Rams, although I don't believe Puka's gotten paid yet, so he's not on that list. But I just mean 2 receivers, same team that get paid buco bucks. There's 3 or 4 teams in the top 12 that do it. So the Colts, I would assume, would enter around that realm. How much is Alec going to get?
That's a good question. I'm actually a little more of a skeptic of Alec than most others. I mean, he's obviously fantastic at high pointing, deep balls, but I don't know if he, in my opinion, I don't know if he showed enough on the short and intermediate stuff to warrant, a top 5, top 10 money. But I think he'll still get it because of the potential upside that they probably see with him. I could see him easily getting in the 25 million range plus, if I had to guess.
That is some big money. It's projection. Well, free agency, everyone gets overpaid, so we'll see if he even reaches free agency.
The cap's supposed to go up this year.
22 million. So it's supposed to be between 301 and 305 million, which is a 22 million jump from the previous season. So it should be at least 20. So long story short, for people in the audience, it should be at least 22 million in new cap money for all the teams in the league, at least, depending on their situation. So, in theory, if you view it that way as a Colts fan, you're like, oh, there's 22 million that just fell from the heavens for an Alec Pierce, if that's how you perceive it. So, he's a talented player, so we'll see.
And the other piece of that was, I think both Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce might have said independently, or at least Alec Pierce.
That. Yes.
Yeah, or at least Alec Pierce said that bringing back Daniel Jones, which I think the Colts have every intention to do, would go a long way in keeping him in Indy. So, for what that's worth.
Deal. Yeah, I saw that as well. Great stuff, Bobby Jr. Appreciate your insights, my friend.
Thank you. Fuck the Patriots, go Seahawks, and fuck the Jets.
Oh, well, I appreciated the first 2 fucks that were in there. The third fuck was one fuck.
Yeah, he never holds back, does he?
No. Just like his father. Bobby Sr. Great stuff. All right, let's do a discount double check on Carl here. Carl?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I feel like that Sprint commercial. We can hear you now. Yes, confirmed.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Where you are in a mountain, in a subway. Yes. What's on your mind, my friend?
Anyway, fuck the Colts. That's number one.
Yeah, screw you, Bobby Jr., you bastard.
But
nice.
Anyway, I don't know. This year is the first year I do not know. I don't know if I could watch the Super Bowl.
What?
I don't know if I could stomach watching the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
I mean, we've done it a lot. We've done it. The Patriots have been there 12 times, and 11 of them have been under Kraft. So unfortunately, we've seen it a lot over the last 30 years.
I was going to pretend the Super Bowl doesn't take place this year, and just watch the Puppy Bowl.
Oh, there you go. Which is almost equally as entertaining. Yeah, that would be a nice.
And keep an eye on the score. And if the Seahawks are beating the shit out of the Patriots by halftime, then I can tune it in.
Although you got to be careful. I went to with ESPN Radio's Ty Butler before he became a bigwig. I was at his house in New York somewhere, and we're watching that Patriots Falcons Super Bowl. My fiance at the time was a Patriots fan. Boo. And then Ty Butler's wife, I can't remember what her fanship is, but it wasn't Patriots. So we're ordering pizza wings. We're high-fiving each other. Oh, the Patriots suck. This is great. Woo! Yeah. And then we just saw it climbing back. And then me and him just looked at each other like, no, this can't be real. What's happening here? Oh God. And so I'm not going to, until they're dead. When it's 0-0 on the scoreboard, that's when I'm going to be like, oh, thank God.
And then came the replay of Sherman taking over Atlanta.
Oh God, terrible.
In the beginning of the show, I forgot who it was talking about their favorite Jet season.
Yeah.
So I started looking around, and one of my favorite Jet seasons, and I'm going to just take you a little bit down memory lane, okay?
Sure, please, yeah.
Here we have here.
Let me go.
Keyshawn.
Throw me the damn ball. Right? And it's showtime, right?
Yeah, right. Jets Confidential, Dan Leberfeld. Very nice.
Then we have 3 Keys for 98,
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
Jumbo Elliott. Then we have, this is the best one. Yeah, baby.
Look at that. Bill Parcells. Oh, my God. AFC East champions. Oh, nice. 2002.
But the thing that I was, got me was who didn't live to really, I don't know if he lived to see it, but Weeb, he died 98.
Oh, I forgot about that, of course.
Right? Then the next year, 99,
Yeah.
this guy died.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable loss for the Jets.
Then the decline of the Jets, right here.
There it is. Woody Johnson.
Right?
Yes.
But anyway.
I love the headline, Band-Aid Baron.
Yeah, right. Anyway, the thing is that, I just want
creative.
good things can happen.
Okay.
And in 98, good things happened, and I was so excited I got a tattoo.
Whoa.
Wow, that was the same year. Oh, unbelievable.
That was the year me and some friends of mine, we were so excited and, drinking a little bit, and we all went down and got Jet tattoos.
Where is this Jet? I don't know if you're allowed to say it, Carl, because I can't remember. Where's this tattoo on your body? This tattoo on your body?
It's on my arm.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you're going to pull down your pants. It's on your left ass cheek or something.
No, it's up. Let me see.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's up. Yep. Now I see it. All right, there it is. Nice, great.
That's
Again,
my
Carl, man, with your tattoo. Very nice.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Jet logo.
I love that logo too. That's my favorite.
It is. It's my favorite. But it's been a long time, and I think that I just want to be able to get excited again. I mean, that wasn't a year we didn't win the Super Bowl.
Right.
We didn't go to the Super Bowl, but man, the excitement was just overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It just made the season. It made the season really worthwhile, and it just gave us a whole lot of hope, a whole lot of fun, and I think we can get that again.
Me too. And by the way, Carl, I don't know how long you've been tuning into the show today. Maybe the whole show.
I have the whole show.
Oh, okay. Then you
probably I was at the gym, so I would say about 8:30.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the reason why I say it is a lot of people have commented in or called in and said that they really appreciated your call yesterday, and that it was sort of exactly what the doctor ordered. So you've received a lot of compliments on the show. So I just wanted to let you know if you hadn't heard it. Several Boy Green Coffee Club members in both the comment section and phone calls praised you for your phone call yesterday on the show. So
I appreciate that, and I'm not trying to tell people how to fan.
Sure.
I'm just trying to tell people that enjoy it. Don't get too high, don't get too low, don't let it affect your whole life.
Sure.
Don't and I was guilty of it, I know myself, but just kind of talk it out. It's fun to go back and forth and talk about players, what might happen in the draft, what might happen in free agency. Keep it fun, but just don't let it get crazy,
Yes.
I've been through that.
Are you an avid fan of any other teams?
Yeah, the Yankees. I'm a big Yankee fan.
Okay.
But I'm not a basketball guy. Not much of a hockey guy. I used to play hockey, but I'm not much of a hockey guy. But nothing to me. Something about football, about the Jets. It just overwhelmed me, as a kid, and it's and people always say, "Oh, why don't you just get a new team?" And I'm like, you can't just do that. You can't just get a new team. You're born. That's in your blood, it's in your blood. You're born into that, or however you get it. You can't get away from it. There's bandwagon fans that jump on.
That's what I experienced in Chicago when I moved here. People said, "Are you a baseball fan?" "Yeah." "American or national?" "National." "Oh, you can become a Cub fan." I went, "No."
Yeah.
I've been a Mets fan since I was 10 years old. Why am I going to become a Cub fan?
And I've lived out of New York longer than I lived in New York. I mean, I've been out of New York since I've been probably about 30. But when I first moved to I first moved to North Carolina, there was no satellite TV. There was no way to get games out of market games.
Yeah.
And my brother used to tape them on a VCR and send them to me. So I used to watch them like a week later on a VCR.
Wow.
You know, but anyway, just it's a fun it's a fun hobby. It's a fun fan, and I'm immersed in it in my little Jet world here, and just enjoy it. You know, just enjoy it.
Well, thank you for the trip down memory lane. It's so cool seeing that you keep so well track of all the newspapers, and your memorabilia collection is spectacular. And as fans are saying in the comment section right now, you're just such a valued member of this community. So we appreciate
And so
you
well
calling
choreographed too.
Well, 100%, and welcoming us into your home. So thank you, Carl.
Well, thank you. And one other thing is, I will be at the tailgate this year.
Yes! Booyah! I can't wait to meet you in person, man. That's going to be amazing. Details
It's going to be
to come.
fun.
Sweet.
It's going to be fun.
Ah, excellent. Thanks, Carl. And let's celebrate, baby. Carl's coming to the tailgate this year, baby. Woohoo! That's going to be a good time. I can't wait. Wow, exciting.
Yeah, tickets should be cheaper. But they won't.
Well, I hope. I don't know. Although, according to Woody Johnson, the ticket prices went up. So excellent.
Yeah. Well,
so,
Woody's got to make a living, you know. I mean, he's
of course, yeah. I want him
he just
to be able
wasn't
to.
he just wasn't born into a high lifestyle.
Of course not. To not handed, he earned it. No question.
And then he has to split it with Chris. So
that's another idea that we have to consider. So, the shout out to Woody and Chris. Appreciate you. We have 500 people in the room. Again, guys, make sure you guys like the video here on YouTube. Hit subscribe. We are, let me do a quick discount double check here before we get to another phone call. We are up to, as the internet loads here, in terms of subscribers, right now, in this moment of time, we are up to 8,346 subscribers, 4 away from 8,350 as we continue our climb
it
up.
wasn't that long ago that you eclipsed 8,000, so that's pretty good.
Hey, damn straight. And before we get there, look at this. We have Super Bowl royalty here on the chat. Wow. Ray Luna just said that at the same time with wow. Death, Texas, and Boy Green and Bob Lederer on a Friday, baby.
And Jake, keep attacking AG. I can't get enough.
That's true. But in all seriousness, Jake, I don't know how long you've been tuning into the show. It's just probably a little early for you over there on the West Coast. But we played your clip from the Harrison Phillips interview earlier in the show. Wonderful job. Again, the full interview for Jake and Harrison Phillips interview is on his channel. I highly recommend checking it out. I wrote several notes of clips I'd like to share on social media from that interview about his expectations for what other people told him about the Jets before he got to the Jets, and it being better than he thought in a lot of different areas. That was wonderful. So Jake's been doing a killer job there at the Super Bowl. So, and we got into apparently the amount of money you're paying for Wi-Fi over there, Jake. That came up on the show today. So sorry for the $1,100 apparently that you're coughing up those beans over there for. I wasn't aware of that. I missed that on the show until several of our Boy Great Coffee Club members brought it up. So Jake, death, taxes, and incredible Wi-Fi rates. The rent's too damn high. The Wi-Fi rates are too damn high, Jake. I'm so sorry, but keep killing it. Whatever you're doing out there is clearly working. We'll add that to your raffle ticket totals for this month, Jake, which we appreciate. Let's go back to the phone line. Gianni boy, take 2. You're on mute.
What's going on, guys?
There he is. He's back. Oh, thank God.
Okay, hey, real quick, because I got to hop on another meeting.
Oh, yes, of course. Sure.
The Harrison conversation that both Richie and Jake had, I think, spoke a lot in regards to what's going on. But a lot of people don't remember when you had Devontae Adams, who came onto the team, and one of his first messages was in regards to the whole situation about how the culture was just so bad that they were just so used to losing. So there's a lot of truth to what Harrison is talking about, and it's what we've been talking about for a while now. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that, hear more on Bob's thoughts. Why did it take other players to really say what was going on, and it really wasn't being talked about?
No, I think we've all kind
Appreciate you guys.
we've all kind of felt in our bones for a while that was what was going on. I mean, that's the whole quote unquote same old Jets vibe that everybody waits for every year. So I got a new coaching staff except for Aaron.
Yeah.
They're going to have a boatload of new players.
Sure.
I just wonder, out of the 53, how many guys that were there at the end of this season are going to be there at the start of the next season.
I'll have to go through the roster to see what that number is going to be. Hey, real quick, Bob, are you a Game of Thrones fan or no?
No, never watched it in my life.
All right, well, then this reference won't hit you the same way. I thought it would. But anywho, during the show, in the lightest sense, they talk about breaking the wheel. Like things have sort of been the same way forever, but the wheel's spinning, so it's just convenient to let the wheel keep spinning. And eventually, you have to break the wheel to create change. So the wheel, in this particular case, obviously, is same old Jets. So, like, when things go wrong, well, we've seen this story before. And then the new guys that come in hear about that, and then it perpetuates forever. So, yes, I thought the cool thing about the Harrison Phillips interview, whether it was with Jake Ashman or Richie, I thought both were terrific, is that, again, how do you break the perpetual wheel? And that it's not instant. We all want it to be instant naturally for this to break, because, like, it's been AG hasn't been here for all this, so it's not AG's fault for what I'm about to say, but we're all Jet fans and we've been here. We just clinched our 10th straight losing season in a row this past year. Our last winning season was in 2015. In 14 of the last 15 years, we have had a 500 season or worse. Most of the time, it's been worse. So it's just been a lot of losing all over again, which has been incredibly difficult to stomach. By the way,
we need a winning season.
Oh,
because,
my God.
Even winning 6 or 7 or 8 games. No, we got to have a winning season, to break, that whole darkness that still surrounds the franchise. And, gives, for instance, and I really mean this, gives Woody a positive reason to spend more money.
Of course.
And stuff like that. It's, if there's even a tinge of truth to the problem that AG had in bringing in a defensive coordinator for financial reasons, that's symbolic of what Woody feels about his investment. Like, why am I putting, good money into a bad team?
Well, here's the thing that doesn't make sense about that. Look at Frank Reich. Like, he didn't come for pennies. So, like, they penny pinched at Wink, but they didn't penny pinch at Frank. Like, that's part of the story to me that just doesn't
make sense. Is there even a rumor of what he's getting paid?
Yes. Zach Rosenblatt noted the highest paid coordinators in the league, and he put between $3 and $5 million. So it sounds like.
Did he get a multi-year?
Oh, yes, for sure. No coach signs a one-year deal.
Yeah,
so outside of a unique scenario, I guess, where you brought in like Tom Moore over here. You can't really see his book. He doesn't get Bob Lederer replacement over here. Sorry, Tom Moore, you're down here. But Tom Moore behind all these names, like, if Tom Moore in his 80s said, "Hey, Jets, I'll rack it up," that might be a 1 year. But most of the time, it's a multi-year deal. So Zach seemed to strongly indicate that Frank was making very serious money, which again seems to defeat the Wink story of penny pinching. But real quick, Bob,
except if he's making the money and the DC that he wanted to hire is not getting that money, that to me has a ring of truth to it.
Hey, I have a funny feeling as I'm playing Detective Boy Green here. We have a new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Interesting. His name is Go Colts 12. I have a weird feeling. I think I know who this is. Bobby Jr. has joined the Boy Green Coffee Club.
I have a feeling, yes, it does sound that way.
Go Colts 12, aka maybe Bobby Jr. in disguise. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. And in all seriousness, Bobby Jr., if that is you in the audience, or another Colts fan, because, hey, Mr. Famous Fulton is a Colts fan, which is interesting, the ties between him and Bobby Jr. So we have a few Colts fans that watch the show, apparently. But whoever you are, if it is Bobby Jr., I'll just tell you, Bobby, people have really enjoyed your calls, and this has been a cool extra element, right? that Bob, by random circumstance, reaches out to me over the offseason due to, unfortunately, a death in Jerry Philbin. And it'd been great because I'd been wanting to reach out to Bob forever. And, it takes two to tango. One of us has to reach out to the other, and then we have to figure it out. But I'm glad it has, because it sparked this surprising every Friday chat. And it's been cool to learn more of Bob's story, and by virtue, Bobby Jr. and everybody else in the audience. So you've been a welcomed addition to the Boy Green Coffee Club. And now we've put a ring on it. It's official. Go Colts 12. You have now entered the octagon here.
Not bad for a guy who 30 minutes ago basically told the Jets to go off.
Yeah, and by the way, he confirmed it is in fact Bobby Jr. Yes, so Bobby Jr., welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. That's super cool, unexpected, but a lot of fun.
And
so
it's
there
not
you go.
even because I'm on.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
And now we have someone who can give us the inside scoop on everything the Jets do with Indianapolis, which, after we basically rip them off for this year, may not be coming back for a lot more.
There we go. Our go-to Colts correspondent. That is true. Like a bad fantasy football trade, you never go back to that guy again after everything that happened. So apologies, but hopefully it works out with you and Sauce, buddy. But you have a raffle ticket to our contest, Bobby Jr. So maybe that's going to end up turning out the other way, and you'll win a fun Jet prize pack.
And he can give it to someone he knows very well.
Yeah, perhaps there he could.
And I can't wait if that happens. I can't wait for the new shorts.
Yes, I also appreciate his honesty where he says, "I joined despite Bob." Okay, well, you know what? I don't judge the reason that people join the Boy Green Coffee Club. I just welcome it with open arms. So go Colts 12. Thank you very much.
Let's see if he can convince my other son to do that. But
oh, wow, that'd be great. Let's keep the family going. And speaking of keeping the family going,
maybe his wife will.
Everyone's welcome. It's just hit that join button on your screen to join either the Boy Green Coffee Club or Espresso Club. We have another Espresso Club meeting later this month. And Bob, several people have asked and requested your presence at one of these future Espresso Club meetings.
Oh, really?
So we're going to have to connect the dots. Yes, you became part of the conversation when we spoke.
I know you had mentioned the other day that you had gotten feedback about a number of the regular guests, and I was going to wait to go talk with you offline and say, so did they have anything nice to say about me? Or
it was funny, and I'll get to Nate's 5 memberships here in a second. It was funny that, like, I didn't even like it. What a great topic to have on a private show about the show. Like it wasn't on my bingo card, but another, and I'm going to forget who it was, but we had several people in the room and someone brought it up as an idea. And I'm like, oh, wow, well, this is going to be fascinating. I'm getting feedback for myself because, like, I'm bringing these guests on. So, oh boy. Sure. So it was favorite guests, terrible guests, all these other comments. So boy, that's a 4-hour show to listen to. And I believe it might have even been Frankie who brought you up and said Bob Lederer. And I'm like, well, let's go. Let's hear what you guys think about.
Nobody
Bob Lederer.
referred to me, quote unquote, as the old fart.
I did not hear that one mentioned. There may have been other names that you were called, but I don't believe that was one of them. Right. No OF.
At my age, I'll take anything.
And I think, and it was also in the comment section because not everyone has to call in the Espresso Club for that meeting. You guys can comment in too. And someone the constant theme was that they love your storytelling. They love that on our very first interview that we did, and it was a 2-part interview because there was just so much that we had to unpack it over 2 before it became a regular bit, is that we unpacked, of course, the Jerry Philbin part of it, unfortunately, and then into your book about the story that, again, it is literally, as the headline reads, it's beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football forever, and the life of it.
Which I remind everybody is the reason why Namath doesn't like the book.
Yeah, which is perfect, which again, whoop, right there, beyond Broadway Joe, boop, boop, boop. Prime real estate right here.
In which I always make the point that, so much that I learned about what pro football is really all about came from these guys, because I talked, for those of you who don't know, I talked to basically everybody on the team except for Joe and Randy Beverly, who was still alive, who was still alive and kicking, about that year. And nobody had ever spent the time to talk to them about what happened that year. And so their stories are new and fresh, even though they're now 56 years old or whatever, and honest, straightforward, and guys who had interesting things to say. And one of the great things I learned, really, there was a faction on the defense that wasn't in love with Joe, and yet everybody on the offense you know, thought he walked on water, and understandably, you know, why those were the differences.
So I understand why Joe Namath didn't want to be involved in a book. I get from everything that I've been told about him,
It's
and you've told
control.
me.
He's a control freak.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I get that, but why did Randy Beverly not want to be a part of the book?
I don't know. I got him on the phone.
Okay.
He works in construction, and I got him on the phone at the end of his day 3 or 4 times, and he would be kind of distant and didn't want to say anything, just didn't want to get into it for whatever reason.
Oh.
And I told him, hey, this is a positive book, and you were one of the real difference makers on that team. And he had a great, interesting personal story because they drafted him, I don't know, 7th, 8th, 9th round. He was not a highly coveted guy, and yet Walt Michaels was the basic defensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately saw what his worth was, and Walt, you know, really waxed enthusiastically to me about how Randy Beverly was a terrific player, and I actually had said to him, I thought the defense weak link was Beverly, and he said, oh no, where'd you get that from? And I told him, and he said he had skills, and he had speed, and he had tackling ability that were exactly what we needed at that other corner, because Sample had, you know, the left corner taken care of. We needed a guy that we could trust, and Randy Beverly was like in his second year with the Jets that year. So, hey, what the hell? Two interceptions in the Super Bowl, and when they tried to pick on him, he was more than up to the task.
Hey, I see this question in the audience. Happy Eddie McGuire asking, how many books has Bob written? Is that the only one, Bob? There you go. Hey, quality over quantity.
When you sign a contract for a book with a major publishing company, you, as part of the deal, you have to agree. First of all, you will not write another book about that team for 5 years or that subject.
Oh, I didn't know that.
5 years. No, I didn't know it either. And secondly, they want right of first refusal on the next book that you write. I get asked all the time by my wife in particular, don't you have another book in you? And I really don't. I don't have any other subject that just, you know, is in my bones.
Yeah, you have to be passionate about it. It has to. You can't just write a book because you have time to write. Right? It has to be a passion project.
Hey, if they won the Super Bowl again, I might try it again. And actually, it's interesting, the conversation we had today, although I don't know how saleable it would be, and that would be, who were the other Jet great teams that could have, should have, would have, you know, won the Super Bowl?
Oh, the best Jet teams that did not win the Super Bowl. That would be a fascinating book.
A great story. I just don't know any publishing company would be that into it.
Ooh, you may want to put that one aside, Bob, before someone else takes that. That to me would be a because do I have the book? I do. I have it handy. Here we go. Here's another book. Okay. So this is one of Mike Greenberg's book. It's Got Your Legends. And basically what this book is, in layman's terms, is we all talk about Mount Rushmore's, who's the best 4 Jets of all time, who's the best 4 Bills of all time, blah, 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 blah. And no matter who you pick, what stats or anything that you have with it, it's a debate topic. Some people are going to agree with the Mike Greenberg, who joined me to promote his book a while back, where he says, it's these 4. And then you can debate, and I did debate with him, one of the players he didn't include in the Mount Rushmore that should have been in there, and we had a whole conversation about it. But, like, if you have the best, and maybe even ranked them to really piss people off because, like, you know, not everyone's going to agree with how you put it, leave it up to interpretation. There's so much debate, and so many people are all over this book because of the debate factor, because, like, you could talk about it forever. So,
well, and not only that, but you know, unlike the 69 Jets, who are ebbing away player by player, unfortunately.
Sadly.
You know, talking to people from the 83 team or from the 98 team, or certainly from the late 2009-10 team, those guys would be still around.
Right.
And so and Rex was very nice when I talked to him about the 69 team, because he and his twin brother was just running around the clubhouse being nuisances. But even that is an interesting part of the story.
All right, so hey, there might be something to be had there. Nate the Great gifting 5 Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. Appreciate you, Nate. Jets. That went to Jag Knowles. That went to Brandon Roberts. That went to Runapu, Scott And Jets Media, how fitting. Jets Media, who just had the Harrison Phillips interview that we referenced earlier today at the beginning of the show. And again, Richie, if you're watching right now after being gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, congratulations. I saw the interview he did with Demario Davis as Demario's walking, so Richie has to like follow him and walk. He's tripping over things at the Super Bowl. You got to do whatever you can for the interview. So Richie, respect. So he's interviewed Chris Strevler. I've seen that on social media, the former Jet preseason legend. Demario Davis. He interviewed or got to speak with Sam Darnold at the podium for the Super Bowl. So, Richie, you're freaking killing it, buddy. And welcome back to the Boy Green Coffee Club. And thank you for Nate. You got 5 raffle tickets to the contest. We'll update that on the banner. And we have a super chat coming in here from Mad Mertz. Thank you, Mad Mertz, for sending this along.
No, he opened the show and maybe he's closing the show.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, but
this is a great way.
But Mad, you've also experienced, 65 years. You've experienced, Nirvana. It doesn't get any better when you win it the first time. And I experienced that obviously with the Jets, which I've mentioned time after time, but I experienced it with the Mets and I experienced it with the Knicks. And it was it was fantastic. And I remember the night in '94 when I was watching on TV the Rangers finally winning the Stanley Cup after 50 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's just such a thrill when your team finally gets to the top.
Oh, yes. So the $5 super chat here from Mad Merch added to your raffle ticket total. Thank you, Mad Merch. You got 3 raffle tickets for our contest. If you're a Jet fan for 5 or 65 years, you have experienced the pain, time to win. And again, while I pound my chest anytime the opportunity presents itself that the Jets won the Super Bowl, and I have this replica Super Bowl ring of the Jets up here, and I love referencing it, but I've seen it 100 times. I have it on DVD. I've watched the Super Bowl 1,000,000 times, Super Bowl III, the Jets' victory over the Baltimore Colts. But to experience it live and the experience and then the season of the ups and downs, whatever that includes as you're going through the playoffs. Again, I know it's going to happen for the Jets. I know we're all going to be here to document it. It'll happen before I'm dead. I'm sure of it. And it's going to be magnificent. So Mad Mertz,
and the NFL is such a short season compared to the other leagues.
Right, baseball or NBA,
and yet so much takes place. There are bad, and there are points where you want to knock your head against the wall in frustration, but then it comes together. As I mentioned, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, Namath made the point that between the Super Bowl game, the AFC Championship, and the last regular season game that the Jets played that year, the offensive line had absolutely no mistakes. They were perfect. And boy, that's really saying something for any team.
There's no question. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I've got a bunch of interviews to do, so we'll have a lot of other stuff on the channel, and I got to jump over to the MC Show digital channel. But again, Austrian Jet Fan gifting a membership, Blue Bee Super Jet Fan Super Chat, DNY for Life 5 memberships, Fastest Food Reviews for Indy raffle tickets to donate to him. Very nice. Jake Asman popping in here. Go Colts 12, a.k.a. Bobby Jr., entering the Boy Green Coffee Club Octagon. Good luck, buddy. Nate Jets 5 memberships and Matt Bird. So much love and activity. And again, I'm very humbled when you guys share with me here on the show, whether watching the show or supporting it financially or what have you. So thank you, Nate the Great, and everybody else in here. Guys, on the way out, do me a favor, like the video on the way out. That's how this Jet show gets in front of other Jet fans out in the universe. And, man, we're going to have plenty to talk about, Bob, this offseason. So I'm looking forward to checking back in with you next week.
Next week will be assistant coach week, I had a feeling.
Yeah, I think you're right. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.